You got your shitting pants on.
What?
Your shitting pants. I hope you're wearing them right now. Because you are about to shit your pants.
Because LeBron James just does everything, man. You brought up boxing one and what they were doing against him. Again, LeBron James in Cleveland overachieved every year. You talk about Boston running him out to Miami. They ran to Boston because of LeBron James. Because of what LeBron James did in 2007, it led to Boston making those crazy trades to get Kevin G.
What years did he overachieve?
Oh, how many years you want to go by? First of all, his second year, the Cleveland Cavaliers won 42 games and missed the playoffs by one game.
So how did he overachieve?
They missed the playoffs by one game, but you call
they missed the playoffs. How did he overachieve missing the playoffs?
Because they were not expected to even make that kind of a run.
Nigga, he missed the playoffs, so he actually played to.
You asked how he was overachieved. Again, I told you how he's overachieving. You're talking about making the playoffs. Nobody expected the 2005 Cavaliers to be in the playoffs. So you would be expecting them. You have all these expectations for LeBron, but you don't call him your GOAT. It sounds like LeBron is your GOAT, sir. That's what it sounds like to me. Everything that you say is LeBron is my GOAT. I expect him to win a championship. I expect him to do this, and he did exactly what you expect him to do. But you just upset for no reason because LeBron's your GOAT.
Now you see now. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you? You know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
Welcome to a brand new beginning, you sorry shits.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. Welcome, I am Ajani the Exposer, and y'all have now been exposed by the Exposer. I appreciate it. And enjoy. I am called Ajani the Exposer. You guys are being exposed today.
Your opinion, I guess.
Move on from it. It was the 90s. That's it, bro. Move on from that. You don't know history. You don't know basketball. You just told me I'm stupid. But look how stupid you look because you don't know basketball. You don't know history. You don't know jamming. You don't know schematics. You don't know coaching. You don't know scouting. You don't know drafting. You don't know nothing but that Michael Jordan's great because the media said you that. So told you to say that. I know that is recorded, and you are officially being exposed by the Exposer, and you're gonna sit there like a man and take this just like Buddy did 2 weeks ago.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Hey, get your numbers out. I had to get my numbers out.
Peace and blessings, y'all. What they do. Welcome to another special show right here on the GJK channel. I'm your host, Ajani. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership. As right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing a special stream due to the fact that I was on a live with RatedR Sports. Shout out to RatedR Sports for allowing me to come on his live yesterday. And as you guys can see, it was an epic matchup. As these dudes are always doing what we know they can do best, cut me off, don't let me speak, and then also lie on my name in my face. It's one thing to go lie about somebody like behind their back, but it's something to do like directly in their face. These Zesty Jeffries are the best at it. So we're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring up some GJK members who also have access to today's show because you guys are members to the show. What's good, fellas? Shout out to Ishmael and Juan Boy. Peace and blessings, brother. What's good, brothers?
What's good, everybody? How's it going?
That's good, man. You know I had to come through for you. Yes, I was listening earlier. I was like, oh, they try to team up with my man when I ain't have to work. I'm off today, so I'm ready for all the smoke.
Listen, you know I want a 20v1, and you know if I go on any Zesty site, they're going to do that to me. And I told him he was going to need the help. When we first started, as you can see there with the intro, it was just he and I. And then eventually he started to notice he's going to need help. He wanted to bring people because he doesn't have no information. So they need other people to come up with information because when it first started, right? You guys didn't get the whole live. He didn't clip the live from the beginning, and he definitely didn't clip the live at the end. He got the live somewhere direct in the middle. I'm gonna mute you, Juan Boy, because you always got some background noise, right? So he didn't, what's it called? He didn't show the whole live. He showed about a 2-hour segment of the live, 2 hour, 12 of the live in the middle of it. You can go to his channel and watch it. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that he brought up, and we're going to actually bring up some of the live as well. But we're going to be very careful because, again, I've been struck down by these Zesty Jeffries or these hateful ass content creators because we're exposing their own content. But I'm not going to put too much of his content on our channel, but I will put some of the stuff so that you guys can see exactly how that situation went as far as the debate go between Mookie and I. They always need help, and I don't mind the help. I was cooking them. In fact, he had to kick me off his live multiple times. He kicked me off multiple times because I was cooking him. He muted me multiple times because I was cooking him. And he didn't mute me like how I do you guys. I'm not over talking. When it's my turn to speak, it's my turn to speak. You can't cut me off and then go to another direction because you don't like the way I'm talking. And that's what they do best, because the first thing he said was, this is a war. We're going at it. This is a war. I want to take on all bronze sexuals, and I got a special bronze sexual on site. A GOAT James Kingdom is the bronze sexual this. And he was talking about how let's see if he could come with anything different. Let's see if he can talk about anything different. And I did exactly what he said that I couldn't do, which was talk something different. They never prepared for GOAT James Kingdom. They're never prepared for us. They think they have everything sewn up because they can try to dictate the conversation. They can try to dictate the narrative, but it's all false. It is completely hilarious what happened to that young man yesterday, and a whole bunch of Zesty Jeffries on top of it. But let's give some shout out to some of y'all in the comment. I see Mon Wright in the building. Peace and blessings, Mon Wright. Wayne Gant in the building. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for joining me. I see all you people out here. What's up to keep it 100? Always supporting us here. And we got our DJ KD is in here. Let me unmute you, Ishmael. So Ishmael, did you get a chance to watch the actual live?
I not everything. I heard a lot of things, but it was like he interrupted you a lot on stuff, and it kept moving the goalposts. So it was kind of hard to really focus. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie with you on that, because it's like it just kept moving from one thing to the next. Like you had an answer for him, and it seemed like he was shocked at the answer you gave him, and he just went on to the next thing. So that's why some of it I was tuned out, because it's like you didn't really get to fully give a full answer or response, and it just didn't really feel, like I said, it made me kind of tune out at, some of it during the duration of it, just because he kept interrupting you, and it's just like he was just surprised by a lot of your responses, and he just went on to the next thing without really acknowledging your points. So
yeah. Or lying on my points on top of that.
Yeah, and then it's like it sounded like he was regurgitating a lot of stuff. I don't know what the whole debate was about, to be honest with you. Was it like just how bad LeBron James' career was, or was it just no?
That again. I'm glad you said that. The whole debate was to bring him up for all his silly takes. He had a video that he made about LeBron James failing with Luka and all this other nonsense, right? And I went in on him in the comments. He would never dare come on GOAT James Kingdom, let alone invite me on his platform. And he was like, yo, you could come on my platform, but he never sent the invite. And then later he made a silly video about Joker, right? So the Mookie's in the background. I'm gonna bring you up here shortly, Mookie, right? He made this silly video about Joker choking. They love to talk about players choking for Game 7. So there he was like, yo, you could come on. I was like, well, we'll go live whenever I'm ready, like whenever you're ready to do this. So he sent me the link to go live on his Playbacktv. So there was really no actual open discourse to what we were going to talk about as far as official discourse. But again, it was what he wanted to talk about, which was LeBron James. He specifically told me that we're going to talk about LeBron James. We're not going to talk about no one else. We're not going to deflect to no one else. So if someone else did what he's downgrading LeBron James for, I couldn't have mentioned that. That's how they try to dictate and narrow in the actual situation. That don't work here in GOAT James Kingdom, because like in GOAT James Kingdom, we're gonna let you get your take off, and I'm gonna eat you alive. Why are you sitting there wondering, damn, why did I say something so goddamn stupid? You see what I'm trying to say? But it's all fine, it's all dandy. He showed up here like a man, or he was here. Now he's not here. I don't know what's happening with him. He was in the background, but he's not here no more. He disappeared. Either way. So again,
is that supposed to be RatedR Sports in the background or something?
Where?
No, that you said it's all fine, and that he showed up like a man.
Yeah, he showed. I sent him the link. Of course, I'm gonna send him the link. Of course, I'm gonna send him the link. Yeah, I'm of course send him the link. And no, it ain't gonna be no team. I'm not. As soon as he comes up, I'll let y'all got to be quiet. Y'all got to let me and Mook get at it. And then we'll once we get to the end, y'all can all talk to Mook if y'all want to get a chance to speak to Mook. Again, if you want to be a GOAT James Kingdom member, all you got to do is check out our GOAT James Kingdom membership. Go right to the GJK channel, hit the join tab, and you'll become a member of the channel. And the link for tonight's live is available for you. Not to mention that we're going to be going live, not live later on tonight. We're going to go in the GJK members lobby. We're going to watch the basketball game tonight. It's a good game tonight between Minnesota and OKC. That starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing that. So if you're a GJK member, you want to watch the game, it'll be up and ready. We'll put the link for you guys about 8 p.m. tonight Eastern so that we can all watch the game together. But again, there was no open, actual debate. So he wanted to talk about LeBron in specific. LeBron. So that's what he specifically wanted to talk about. So that was what the crux of, and what really got him upset was, again, like you said, when I said something he didn't like the idea of me telling him the Cleveland Cavaliers overachieved. He didn't like the idea that he was really upset. He thought that I was bugging because I was trying to explain to him how LeBron James actually overachieved with the first thing in Cavaliers. Like he didn't have to win a championship for it to be an overachievement. Like he doesn't have to win a championship every time he played everywhere he went. That's not the expectation. That's the Zesty Jeffrey expectation because they're LeBron fans. But LeBron James doesn't have to win a championship every year he ever played in. So when I told him that the Cleveland Cavaliers overachieved in 2005, he was like, how did they overachieve in 2005? How did they overachieve? I'm like, what do you mean how did they overachieve in 2005? They won over 40 games. They were winning season. Do you want to know when was the last time the Cleveland Cavaliers had a winning season in the NBA? And now you're going to say that's not an achievement for a franchise that just drafted a high school player, a phenom. Nobody knows what's going to really come of this kid. And they're on the upside.
That's a good point.
They're on the upside. Right? They're on the upside. They won 35 games in 2004, right? They won 8 games in 2003. Oh, I'm sorry, not 8 games. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. They won 17 games in 2003, right? They won 29 games in 2002. They won 30 in 2001. They won 32 in 2000. They won 22. We know that in the shortened season. They won 47. The last time the Cleveland Cavaliers had a winning record was in 1998, in the 90s. So here comes LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just only won 35 games the year prior, which was already a leap before, but they lost Carlos Boozer. They lost Ricky Davis. They lost Darius Miles. So there was no reason for you to assume that they would win 42 games. Then he had the nerve to say that they underachieved because they didn't make the playoffs, which is how's an underachievement when nobody expected them to not make the playoffs, or that they didn't overachieve, but that they had a 30-22 record or something like that at the All-Star break, and they went and they floundered that and only ended up winning 42 games. Well, in reality, they were not supposed to have 30 wins by February. That's an overachievement. But they don't want to recognize those overachievements, which was what you were saying, Ishmael. Every time I would address something, they wouldn't address it. They would just get scanned over and go to some other nonsense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? So, right. So that was one of the main arguments. He just couldn't take me saying that.
The thing I noticed is that, like, you're right. Like, see, Ajani, there's stuff I've disagreed with you with, but the thing is, like, I noticed you're right. Like, LeBron James fans are not allowed to have their own opinion on things and be able to argue their own opinion. It's like, even though that, let's say that I could disagree with something, I'm going to respect your opinion to be able to debate it. They don't do that. They'll just ignore it and try to move on to the next thing and think it's outrageous that if you have something other than what they're supposed to think of, what they're supposed to like align with, you're supposed to align with this. No, you're supposed to say LeBron James is supposed to, he underachieved because he didn't even make the playoffs. You know what I mean? But with your perspective, it's like, oh no, we're gonna ignore what you have to say and just go on to the next thing. So it's like, so I see what you're saying with that. And that's the annoying part is like they don't really acknowledge some of the things that you say, which is pretty intriguing because I feel like you're it's right, it's correct. Like when you have a person, especially in the second year, that's a teenager that's leading the team, and they're this close to making the playoffs, that says a lot. They haven't made the playoffs in years, and he's coming straight out of high school. Says a lot to the fact that maybe you look at it this way, he did overachieve for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So.
Okay, exactly. But go ahead, Juan Boy, and shout out to Herm in the building. Go ahead, Juan Boy.
Yeah, like to add to that point, when you was frying them on the point about the 2-3 defense, how Dallas is playing the intricate 2-3 zone.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about a basic high school zone.
That's what he said. He said basic. That's what he said. Yeah.
The center does not leave the paint. If you claim to be watching the 2011 finals, was Tyson Chandler only playing in the paint? No. Why? Because Tyson Chandler is athletic enough to move his feet laterally, been able to jump vertically, and he was a great defender. So they can play a 2-3 intricate zone, a modern zone versus a league where the floor spacing is a lot more, is a lot more common. And one of the reasons you can't go to a basic 2-3 zone is because you give up too many offensive rebounds. So him saying that was just a total lie. And like, see how I'm adding context to something that he didn't want to add in? That's what they run from. They come up with these baseless takes and the lack of context even makes the take even worse.
That's facts, man. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, brothers, for joining me here today. But we're gonna have some fun again. I did send Mookie the live. He's more than welcome to show up. Guess who was out there popping up listening to the live? Hollywood Herm in the building. That's where Herm be everywhere in these YouTube streets. But he was on playback. He popped up on playback. Shout out to Hollywood. Before I let you speak, Hollywood, let me address this Zesty Jeffrey Willie. Willie, it's not low-level overachievement. The same way you wouldn't expect Michael Jordan to do anything versus Larry Bird. That's why you guys are such hypocrites, because you guys don't hold Michael Jordan to any of these same standards. Same thing with here with King Rose Speech. So if 40 wins, I didn't say 40 wins, I said a winning record. They had a winning record. They won 42 games. So that means they were one game away from making the playoffs. After just drafting a high school kid a year later and losing their best player that was on the team prior to that, and Carlos Boozer. So y'all making it seem like the Cleveland Cavaliers were supposed to win 40 games. They were not supposed to win 40 games. Nobody's expecting this from a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
so it's an overachievement. It's an overachievement.
Give us a winning season in his first 3 years. And that was
Thank you.
Where there was only 11 teams in the Eastern Conference for 3 straight years. Jordan had a losing record.
If you let any Zesty Jeffrey tell you, they'll tell you 1987 was an overachievement for the Bulls. They were under 500. They got swept in the first round, but they'll tell you it was an overachievement because of where the Bulls were coming from. That's the point. And you can be real good. They were a 30-win team the year prior, and they won 40 games. Yes, they didn't have Michael Jordan the year prior, but they still won 40 games. And then you can say the next year they even overachieved even more because they went from winning 40 games to winning 50 games. You see what I'm trying to say? So these are all over. Nobody's taking that away from Jordan. Nobody ever said Jordan didn't overachieve. Nobody's saying that. But you Zesty Jeffries don't know how to talk basketball. If you ask somebody's opinion, you can't be mad at the opinion, especially when they're using logic behind it. Shout out to Asante in the building. What's good, Ham? What you got for us today, brother? I know you was there watching it. When did you join the live yesterday? When did you join? Did you see it from the beginning?
I forgot the minute more, but I think once I did come in, I was arguing about synergy. And it was a lot of crazy shit that went on about the synergy arguments. And at the end of the day with that, because I know Lamont, that's his go-to synergy. Synergy, it was around at 2011, but it was just a lot of crazy shit. But you seen when you away, sometimes it'll make you crash out a little bit. It make you crash out when you get.
Herm, that shit was fucking classic, Herm.
Yeah.
That shit was Herm. These niggas think that I crash out like I don't know what I'm doing. I know exactly what. That's a part of being the exposer. Because the idea is that you think you made me crash out in a victory. No, you got embarrassed. That dude felt embarrassed. He thought that he got me by saying I can't pay $1,000 and for a bet that I didn't even bet. I'm glad that you brought that up, right? Because we know the infamous episode that Lamont did with using synergy when he used the synergy's numbers for who Michael Jordan was the primary defender on. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Now, I do know Synergy has all these crazy analytics. and you would know, and I've heard Lamont say this, you heard this here, we don't care about analytics. If you can't see the regular stats and explain the regular stats, Herm, none of that other shit means matter. You're just gonna lie. They misappropriated those same stats. And I'm gonna prove it to you now because they wouldn't even let me speak. Here goes one of the things that they brought up right here, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is from Synergy. All right. This is supposedly Jason Terry's proof that he is not an elite creator. Now, mind you, he didn't define what an elite creator is. When I asked him, he said offensive creator. So that's what in my mind, when you're thinking of creator, I'm thinking somebody who create their shot and create shots for their teammates, right? He said a creator. He didn't say a shot creator. He didn't specific. He said no, a creator. He claims Jason Terry is not an elite creator because Jason Terry on points per possession is 0.81 in handling the ball and 0.83 in isolation. Now, if you look closely to the top, it clearly says scoring only. So why didn't they say we're talking about just scoring when this doesn't include for how many times Jason Kidd makes an assist? Nor does this dictate what a creator is. They never stated that. So, Herm, the reason I was telling you that they were lying and they were trying to use this as any kind of significant thing, they didn't want to take cutting as an aspect of creating shots and being a shot creator. They didn't want to take the idea of being a spot-up shooter, right? Finding the right spots for you to do it. They didn't want to take the fact of being off-screen as that. Then they try to bring up the playoff numbers, which he was saying was going to be worse. But look, the off-screen was off the charts. Spot-up was off the charts. And when you're talking about a 50 percentile, when they were talking about on the left here with the percentage, right? That percentage is for the entire league average. That's not for his position, for elites. Where is the average for elite playmakers and elite, whatever shot creators that they want to talk about? But at the end of the day, this is from Synergy. This is not from NBA.com, which was my whole point to them, because the NBA.com was not tracking these same numbers. If we look at it, it says cut, isolation, off-ball screen, a on-ball screener, a handler with the screener, right? Spot-up shooter, right? And obviously the other part is, what does that say again? I can't see that either at the other part. Transition. There's no tracking for transition on NBA.com. There is no tracking of any of this data. And that's what I explained to him. Now, when I use the word tracking, I'm saying the actual tracking of these stats. He purposely and Zesty Jeffrey wise took me saying tracking as me saying that the NBA hasn't been doing any tracking since 2016, which is false. They've been tracking data, different stats on the NBA since 1997. So he lied on that, and I'm going to prove it to you here, Herm. So when you guys want to bring up the Synergy stuff, I didn't discredit the Synergy thing. What I told him was, where did he get those numbers from? Those numbers do not exist in NBA history. The ones that Lamont brought up were actual game stats. Lamont didn't go to some special specific points per possessions type of shit. Lamont went to who Synergy said Jordan was guarding and went to what they scored in that game by the box score. That's not no made up number. That's not no made up fake shit. Only thing you can say that's made up is they got wrong who Michael Jordan was guarding. That Michael Jordan was not the quote unquote primary defender of that player that game. You have an argument if you want to argue with Lamont with that. I didn't argue with Lamont with that because Synergy is basically saying in this game and from the film that we got, Michael Jordan was guarding this defender majority of the game or this player for the majority of the game. Right? We know it's not accurate. I always told you that that's not accurate. I never said that was an accurate depiction. But
Shout
what those guys,
man.
Yeah, but what those guys did score, Chill is in the building. Shout out to Chill. Peace and blessings, brother. Yeah, we about to hear. If you want, I can send you the link, brother, and we can get it. No, you are here. You are here. We just got started. I got some GOAT James Kingdom members here. We're talking about how Zesty Jeffrey lies, and they try to trick you with the Zesty Jeffrey lies. And I can prove it to you here, ladies and gentlemen, because Herm, you remember what he was talking about? And mind you, he was like the $1,000 bet. I said, listen, I'm not a degenerate gambler, Herm. You know me. We don't do the betting. I don't bet like that. I said, let's bet you saying LeBron James is the GOAT, that the NBA did not track isolation, cutting, ball handling, all the play type. Remember, he was talking about plays, the type of plays that they call for an elite creator. He was saying they don't call that. In fact, he brought up this nonsense about staggered screens. And again, what do you know what a staggered screen is, Ajani? Do you know what a staggered? Yes, I know what a staggered screen is. It's very simple. It's a staggered screen. It's not that complicated. It's two back-to-back picks. Screen and rolls. Get your man open. Originally it was used to get your man to the basket, but now in today's NBA you can use it in many different ways. You can use it to get your player open to get to the basket, or you can use it to get it open for a jump shot. But here, what does that say, ladies and gentlemen? Offensive threat. So that means whoever you're using to do a scragger screen for it has an offensive threat of some kind. But he's mad that I said Jason Terry could put the ball on the ground and score. He could shoot. He thought Jason Terry was Kyle Korver. Let's be real, Herm. Is Jason Terry Kyle Korver in the same sentence when you talking about drawing up plays?
So Jason Terry always been a guy that was a flat out scorer, though. He came into the league as a guy that always created his own shot opportunities, things of that nature. But I just want people to understand, for what I witnessed, though, just on both ends of the spectrum, though, I think when it comes to Jordan fans and LeBron fans in general, they tend to be so defensive to the point where they don't realize how much disrespect given to two all-time greats. I think when it comes to Jordan in his younger years, for what he was doing from 84 to 88, how they was making improvements each year and all that, that was overachieving to a degree for the Bulls, because they was nothing before he got there. So end of the day, he was doing this thing like LeBron James. It was going to be a process in Cleveland. They was getting better each and every year. And with LeBron, I'm surprised you ain't mentioned this to defend him, but LeBron James also lost a dynamic guard that everybody thought that was going to probably be the best guard in the NBA in DeJuan Wagner. He lost him in the same rip because of his kidney issues. So it was some transitional thing that Cleveland was going through. And for him to climb out of that, that was great too. It just shows how great those two guys are. So I think when a lot of people try to nitpick at those guys, especially in their younger years, I've never seen real guys that talk the game of basketball punish cats from their younger years, especially when they trying to learn how to be a leader themselves, trying to learn how to navigate through this league on a daily basis and how to make their team have a chance to win every day. It takes a lot of time, so they don't realize how hard that truly is, and the responsibility that Jordan and LeBron had to make their teams competitive. It took a lot. It took a lot of growth, but it took a lot of their greatness to make those teams relevant. So they got to understand that, man. At the end of the day, yes, you might have your preference of who you like, but you don't have to go to the extreme lengths to try to disrespect somebody because you may not agree with their viewpoints on who may be greater. And that's what we generally been seeing too much, and I think it's getting played out for real.
Hey, shout out to all the DJK members. Shout out to Zero. Tyson says, "Come get it in blood" is diabolical. Yes, come get it in blood, because he was lying on those numbers. He got mad because I proved him right about the fact that the NBA was not tracking those numbers. Let me pull up your other comment here. Shout out to you, Tyson, for joining here on the great live here. Let me pull up your other comment here. It said here, you said energy was fake. Yes, the stats that he was using was fake. Remember, we talked about it. It was isolation. Y'all see what it says here on NBA.com, right? It says isolation. What are the other plays? Transition, right? Remember I told you that? That's what the NBA was tracking. Pick and roll, handler, pick and roll man, spot up shooter, cut man. Where was that located? In player type, which is what I was trying to explain to him. And how far can we go? 2016 is the furthest we can go. So where is Synergy getting this information from? We know where Synergy is getting the stats that the players were scoring on Michael Jordan. It's in the box score. It's official NBA numbers. They didn't say Michael Jordan did some. Lamont did not bring up some Synergy fake stats. And if Synergy has this data before 2016, why doesn't the NBA have this data? Because it says it to you right here, provided by Synergy. So Synergy is providing us this information. So where's Synergy getting this information from? Why are they not giving it to the NBA? And that was my point. If it's not on NBA.com, it's not accurate. That's all I said. Because the NBA doesn't even do points by possessions for all of this. So even if isolations, you got point by possessions here, right? Frequency, right? Here we go. And 2016 is what we're going to go to. But we can't go any further than that. We can't go any time before that. Let's go to transition. Points by possession. It's right here, right? If we go to ball handling, points by possession, it's all here in player type. But what he said to go to was tracking. And if we go to tracking, it doesn't have that. It has drives. It has defensive impact. It has catch and shoot. These were not the things that they were talking about when they were using the Synergy stats. So when I said the word tracking, I'm talking about the NBA actually tracking these stats. The NBA did not track these stats prior to 2016. That is the earliest we can get this data from, that we can say is purely accurate. Anything other than that is all speculation. And that's what I brought up. And that was what the facts was. So I didn't lie and say that Synergy has made up numbers. Those are made up numbers. They're not real. He said it was horrible to watch Chill just yelling and insults, real basketball. No real, exactly. It's never going to be real basketball talk. You're never gonna have that issue on Go James Kingdom. We always talk basketball here. That's why you showed up here, Tyson. They don't want to talk basketball. They want to talk about each other. You know what, Chilltown, you probably wouldn't be interested in that unless you want to see Zesty Jeffries get exposed, because they can't talk the game of basketball. They can't talk it. So like I said before, I was right when I brought up the numbers here. He was wrong. Those synergy numbers, you can bring them up whatever you want. And as I stated before, with those same synergy numbers, this does not describe what an elite creator was. And if you guys want to, comment on that, can anybody tell me what they think an elite creator is? Go ahead, put it in the comments. And then one of you gentlemen here that's already up here, can you explain to me what an elite creator is? And I bet you we all,
I'm assuming it's like basically like a Kobe Bryant type of guy, or a guy that can play one-on-one, that can get to the rim when they have the ball in there. They don't need a bunch of screens, and they're not just spot up shooters. So somebody that can create a scoring opportunities on their own without somebody getting involved, type of thing. I mean, but I thought Jason Terry was always a good at that. Like, he was, I don't know, elite, but I thought he was always great at being able to create his own scoring opportunities without others, you know.
Fish, he got drafted in 1999. He was doing it when he was playing with Atlanta in his early years, and he did it through every team that he played for. Brooklyn, Atlanta, Dallas, Milwaukee, Houston. He put up buckets. Jason Terry was a bucket.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, you know.
Off the dribble, spot up, mid-range, from three.
Right. Dribble, pull up, all that stuff. Yeah, I always thought that, you know.
That game four against the Lakers in 2011, he was like 8 for 9 from three.
Damn.
Well, say what you want, right? Say what you want, right? He torched. I'm in debates with some of these Zesty Jeffries now in the comment sections. They trying to tell me Jason Terry, I'm praising Jason Terry for no reason, blah 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 blah. That the reason he looks so, Willie's one of them in here. Look, he's already losing right now to Chilltown Hoops. Shout out to Chilltown Hoops, cooking people in the comments. Right? Cooking people in the comments, but they're arguing me about saying that the only reason Jason Terry was so elite against LeBron, and because it was LeBron's weak defense, but he actually played way better versus the Lakers that same series versus Kobe's, and Kobe's his primary matchup. He's a 2 guard, and Kobe's guarding him, and he's cooking Kobe. He shot over 55% in that series versus the Lakers. He shot over 60% from the 3-point versus that Lakers, and he had damn near 20 points per game versus the Lakers in that series. Better than what he did against the Miami Heat.
But how about they switch Kobe off of Jason Terry and put Kobe on Stojakovic? Stojakovic was 7 for 7 in game 4 from 3. They were lighting, and JJ had 22 points. It wasn't even dirt. They got killed in Game Boy by Stojakovic, Terry, and Barella. It's 2011. That game we have footage.
Not only do we have, you know what? You're right. We actually do have footage. Let's bring up the footage right now. Right here, let's bring up how Jason Terry, this is what he said. You remember he said, Jason Terry can't get his own shot off the dribble. Look at this is Jason Terry creating his own shot in transition.
Yeah,
dunking.
he used to huff.
Right, hold on. Too. Balling. This is balling. Again, we're going to hear Jason Terry talk his shit as well. Here we go again. Look, this is against Dwayne Wade. Look at that crossover dunk on the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. Here we go again. In the NBA Finals against the Heat. This is isolation in your mouth. Like this is Jason Terry creating his own shot. Why? Wait a minute. Why would Dallas draw up a play so that Jason Terry has the ball with 33 seconds left to go to close out a game if he's not an elite creator?
Well, LeBron.
Why does he have the ball? Why is he dribbling the basketball in this moment of the game? Not that he has the ball. Forget about that he has the ball. The fact that now that he has it in his possession, the thing that he's not doing, you're never going to let Kyle Korver do what he just did right there. Kyle Korver is not going to sit around and read the defense for him to get his shot. That's not happening. This is creation. This is giving him the ball in the right position. This is calling a play. This is what they don't know. They don't know basketball. This is isolation basketball. Here, look, one-on-one. I take my own shot. I do this. This is creating a shot. This is in clutch moments.
Jason Terry has scored 5 straight points in 43 seconds.
Listen to what they say here.
His confidence level against Steve Nash. He just doesn't have any sense of fear whatsoever that Nash can compete with him in a one-on-one isolated matchup.
Yeah, got Steve Nash.
Jason Terry is always that guy, you know. He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
He just said it. He said it. One-on-one matchup. They said he don't do no ISOs. Look, this is drawing up plays one-on-one. Look at him create a shot. Spin, fadeaway. In your mouth. What do you mean he can't create his? Now forget creating his own shot. He can create plays. He can get plays for other players. It's not like he can't. I'm just showing you his eliteness at clutch moments. Look at this. This is dribbling. Look, a runner now. He's doing runners on you, dribbling to the basket. Look again, same thing. Calling plays for one-on-one action, clearing the floor out for him to have the ball and do what he can do. Look at this, and dunking in pick and roll situations. Look at this. How y'all gonna say this is not an elite creator? Look at this. If you would have said elite scorer, we're talking differently. We're not saying an elite scorer. We're saying an elite creator. Look at this. This is on Bruce Bowens. Look at this. Give me that. Take back. In your mouth. Snatch that back. Snatch it back.
Hit the butt.
Hey, look. Watch this. Between your leg, between Hezzy, crossover, step back, in your mouth. Tim Duncan. What are you guys talking about when you guys
can't play any better defense than Tim Duncan did right here? Stays down, stays with the quicker Terry, plays him, challenges the shot, and as you called it, the rainbow. Look how high this ball goes, way up in the air, and the Mavericks threatening.
It don't matter. Steve Nash is one of the worst defenders. You're not letting Kyle Korver go up against Steve Nash.
He just hit a shot over Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, yeah. That was Duncan. What are we talking about?
He just, that three he hit, that was against LeBron. Now all of the clip you just showed, all of these guys 6'9" and taller that he hitting shots over, he go pick on Steve Nash.
Right.
You see the bias shit?
That's my thing. Like I said, meanwhile, listen. I'm cooking him on all this shit. We haven't even got to the actual show yet to show y'all everything that what they were doing to me. Because again, this is the only way to win a debate versus me. One way is to not let me speak, right? And the other way is to kick me off. That's it. You're not going to win by me crashing out, because once I go to crash out mode, that goes to me ranking mode. When I go to that crash out mode, now I'm ranking on you. When I started with quote unquote crashing out, it's because this man legitimately, and this is what they try to do. This is what I was trying to explain to Peter Bagjuice. This is how they test your manhood. This man tried to put $1,000 debt on me, then called me a coward and a broke man for not wanting to pay a debt that I never want to pay, that I never even agreed to be a part of.
Yeah, I heard that person.
Just because,
go house for house.
Yeah, go house. Come to my house. That's what I say. If you want it, come get it in blood, nigga. Because I'm not gonna pay you. You a bitch, nigga. Why would I pay a bitch, nigga? That's all. Now, if you want to go that far, I'm not gonna pay you, nigga. Come get your money, nigga. I'll pay you when I feel like I want to. In fact, I'm gonna take $1,000 and go eat with my wife. I'm going to dinner with my wife on your account because you just gave me $1,000. So that ain't crashing out. That's you getting embarrassed because you lied, and all they did was lie the whole show. Mookie's back in the building. We got Mookie here, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Let's let Mookie come up here and explain all his lies, as usual and typical. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for joining the GOAT James Kingdom platform. We got a couple of GJK members down here at the bottom. Your boy Herm's here in the building. So, again, we were here showing how much lies you were doing and how illogical you was acting and basically how much you got exposed yesterday, sir. And you can't talk basketball. There's people here saying that are not GOAT James Kingdom fans that are saying it was horrible to watch your show yesterday because you couldn't actually speak the game of basketball, sir. The mic is yours, Mookie. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, hold on. You hear me now?
We can hear you, brother.
All right, I actually think you got exposed
when we had to sit in the chair and actually talk basketball and actually talk schemes, schematics, what and the fact that you said there's claim that you're a LeBron fan, right? And LeBron is your GOAT, you know what I'm saying? And that's your guy. And it seems like it's my bad if it's any interruptions. I'm working out right now. The fact that LeBron James uh, is your guy and he's your GOAT, and you sit there and say he's the greatest player of all time, and yet you hold Michael Jordan to a higher standard. That's crazy. Um, it's crazy how you can sit there and say that he choked the 1998 against the Detroit Pistons because his points, rebounds, assists, all that dropped to regular season. But that logic can use against LeBron James. Because if you compare LeBron James' regular season statistical stats from 2011 in the regular season, right, compared to the NBA Finals, the numbers, the rebounds, I think the field goal percentage, the true shooting percentage, all dropped in the finals. But you sat there and said he didn't choke. But sat there and said Michael Jordan choked when he averaged damn near what I believe. I'm not trying to get it. Well, I'm just on the top of my head, like 28, 29. So it's just a hypocrisy in your logic. You're not consistent. You know what I'm saying? It just shows you that you hold Michael Jordan to a higher standard. Then when I give you the in-depth reason why he choked, no narratives, just all basketball.
Hurry up and get to your point,
Can I
sir,
finish?
because because you're lying. But continue. Hurry up and get to your point.
Hold on. I'm gonna break it down schematically, right? When I tell you about why LeBron James choked in the 2011 finals, how they were playing zones that LeBron James didn't have an added dimension in his game off ball to be able to slash in the nail, to be able to find the teeth of that defense, especially in that zone defense, be able to cut, be able to bend the defense off the ball instead of standing on a weak side corner and not being able to have added dimension off the ball. And then when Eric's supposed to try to run, off his schemes, plays where you're getting LeBron James on a mismatch on the post, on the high post, uh, LeBron James just couldn't exploit it. Deferring to a smaller guard on J.J. Barea, Jason Terry. These are things that I watched. You didn't even know what a horn set was. I tried to tell you what are the defenses that they ran. You couldn't even tell me what defense that they ran. So this is all things that you can go back and rewatch it on Playbacktv, RatedR Sports debates. I don't have to lie. These are facts, and that's why
You lied. Off the top, brother. You lied on everything. You just lied on everything you said. You don't know my standards for Jordan. So there you go, lying off the top. You just said that off the top. So you did not know my standards for Jordan.
Jordan has a higher standard for you.
Again, I let you go, brother. I let you go. It's my turn to speak. I let you lie on I let you lie on my name, brother. I let you lie on my name. So don't come here and go James Kingdom lying. I let you lie on my name long enough. I did not say none of the stuff that you said. I hold LeBron James to a different standard. You said in your life specifically, we were only going to talk LeBron James. You didn't want to talk nothing else. You didn't want to talk no other basketball. You didn't want to speak about nobody else. You didn't want to deflect to no one else. You were the one who only wanted to talk LeBron James. I wanted to go there to talk about your silly Joker comments. I wanted to talk to you about all your other silly comments. I wanted to talk about basketball. You didn't talk about basketball. In fact, we got some comments here that ask you, what did you say? Ask him, Lamont, you know what zone he claimed the Miami Heat were playing against versus the Dallas Mavericks? A basic 2-3. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's what he said word for word. Go back to him saying it. He said basic 2-3 zone was what they were running that LeBron James could not exploit and take advantage of.
What's a 2-3 zone?
Again, we already went through this. Don't cut me off.
2-3 zone is?
Mookie, this is not your live. Do not cut me off. This is not your live. This is not your live.
What a 2-3
Don't
zone
cut me off.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga. Sit your ass down.
I put you in the dugout, sir, because you don't know how to react and chill. It's my turn to speak. You don't get to cut me off. I know what a 2-3 zone is. I brought up the information about the staggered offense. You want to talk about the staggered screen, about the horn offense. We know all this. They did not run a 2-3 basic zone. You don't know basketball. You said Jason Terry can't create. We just got film footage of everything that you said Jason Terry cannot do on film. You claim we're supposed to trust your eye test when you were probably 12, 13, 14 years old in 2011. What do you know about basketball in 2011 to say that you're breaking down the game of basketball for us to understand? You are nothing but a liar. You have lied. Everything that you said, yes, is recorded, and everybody can see how much you lied. You said that they ran a basic 2-3 zone. Mark Cuban said you are a liar.
Well, first of all, you have the presumption that people care what you say. They don't.
Sit your ass down.
Now, if we go to what Mark Cuban says here, and if we clearly go to what Mark Cuban says, he says they ran an intricate zone. They didn't run a basic zone. So let's go to what Mark Cuban said about what they were running versus the Miami Heat and not Mookie's lying ass.
The same way all the time. Miami played it the same way all the time, and then we can have discussion about adjustments. Like last year, did we play harder than the Heat? Is that what you think it was?
No, I don't. I think LeBron disappeared and shrank in crunch time in the fourth quarter. And I can just show you the numbers of what he didn't do in every.
So we get no credit.
That sounds like you
putting him in a position to succeed. Right? We played the Heat.
He could put himself in. All he did was stand out on the perimeter.
Now, how do you think we defended that? Why do you think he was standing out there?
You didn't have to defend it.
Right. So no matter what we did, he was just going to stand there and do nothing.
Well,
they were in a 2-3 zone by Mookie's account.
And that's all you saw.
Saved the day for him.
You're exactly right. That's all you saw. You didn't look, right? I mean, that's a complete insult to us to say, you know what, the adjustments that we made.
What did you do to force him out there?
We had like 6-7 different types of matchups in our zone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you hear that, Mookie? He had 6 or 7 different matchups in their zone. Is that a basic 2-3 zone that he's talking about there, Mookie? Go ahead and unmute yourself so you can go live. Is that a basic zone? Is that a basic 2-3 zone he just explained? Is that a basic 2-3 zone? Is it? Where are you at? Why are you working out instead of learning basketball? You should be watching GOAT James Kingdom. That's what you should be doing. Let's go back again and watch him say it again. We ran
Still no damn excuse though.
Types of matchups in our zone.
What? Here we go again.
What did you do to force him out there?
Listen again.
We had like 6-7 different types of matchups in our zone.
6 or 7 different.
6-7 matchup zones. What do you? Where are 6-7 matchup zones?
That's what I was trying to explain to you. There are intricate zones. There are different matchup zones. Depending on what. Okay, hold on, wait. Don't. You can't ask a question and then stop somebody from answering. You cannot ask a question, then stop someone from answering the question, sir. I'm going to answer it. They ran more than just a 2-3 zone. They ran different intricate zones depending on what.
Still no damn excuse. Even they disguised and use exotic coverages.
It doesn't matter.
The fact that the nigga did not play to his standards. He still didn't play to his standards. But yes, all they did was a basic matchup zone and basically packed the paint. They packed the paint and basically did a matchup zone, and they trapped at times.
Stop lying,
the palm with the ball. It was a matchup zone. Johnny.
They ran 6 or 7-1, so you can't sit here and say which ones they ran when he said they ran 6 different ones.
That was in a 1-3-1. That was in a 1-3-1, and they did different. You could do a lot of different things in the zone. You could trap in the zone. You could hard head.
Thank you, Lamont. Thank you, Lamont. But there is no such thing as a basic matchup zone. It is all intricate, predicated on the plays to cover.
Basic, man. If you take the damn time, you can dissect the damn defense. It's not hard to dissect the zone. A zone normally basically exposes a team weakness. That's why teams go to zones, because certain weaknesses the team has, they'll go to a zone.
Bro, you know you sound like Skip Bayless.
They knew LeBron and D-Wade and them. Typically not guys go shoot a lot of jump shots. They particularly attack the paint. So all they did was play a 1-3-1 and pack the goddamn paint. They packed the goddamn paint.
How do you pack the paint on a 1-3-1?
You can't.
You can't pack the paint in a 1-3-1, dumbass.
The center is the
you can pack the paint in a 1-3-1, dumbass. What the fuck are you talking about?
You cannot run.
On the perimeter. You got 2 players on the perimeter.
Herm, y'all not gonna run it
and face me like a man.
No, you would have won. Here we go. You're not gonna overtalk me. Again, he is the one who is telling you their game plan.
When you get cooked, when you got to mute a nigga.
That's what you were doing. You don't let people this shit again, y'all. They don't let people speak. We gave you your turn. You asked me to address you. I'm addressing you, claiming what strategy was being ran against Miami Heat. You lied. They didn't run a basic 2-3. You lied. You don't know what they ran. I told you they ran an intricate matchup, meaning they had several matchups for the zones. You didn't believe me. That's what he said. We had 6 or 7 zone matchups. Plus, we ran other things. He said, again, we're going to let him continually break it down because all Herm and Mookie is doing is lying on people who know more than him. This is the guy. He was there in the locker room. He'd know what they ran. It was nothing for him to explain what Dallas did when he was explaining this. Just the same way he was exposing Skip, he's exposing Herm and Mookie right now.
Your dumb asses, man. Pull up your favorite thing, ChatGTP, and I expose y'all ass right now on this site.
Who says my favorite thing? When you see me do a whole,
you've been using the shit out of it. Yeah.
Again,
put the question in ChatGTP. Can you pack the paint in the 1-3-1?
See, look, y'all see who's acting disorderly, right? Ishmael is here. Juan Boy is here. LeBron's fans. They're a behavior. Look, how are we biased by dropping facts? You guys can't let people speak. You won't even let me
drop the facts about what they did. That was in the
you won't even
and they packed the paint.
Herm, you can't pack the paint in today's NBA. There's a 3-second rule. You can't pack the paint.
Bro, listen, I'm trying to talk because I got to get back to my workout, bro, and I'm trying to.
No, you don't get a chance to speak unless it's your turn. This is not your turn, Mookie. Oh wait, you know what, Herm, you are acting up too. No, you don't get a chance to speak, Herm. If you got something to go do, nigga, go bench press 250, nigga. Bye. Nigga, go do your legs.
Why you don't want to talk schematics, though?
I am talking schematics, nigga. We're talking right now. Y'all won't let it happen. You won't shut up. You won't listen to Mark Cuban explain it to you. You won't shut the fuck up.
Types of matchups in our zone, right? And we played man-to-man, and we had a variety of different switches, right? So we knew that 90% of the shots were going to come from the left-hand side, right? We knew that if you gave him room from the left, he was going to drive. Now, we didn't have the athletes that Oklahoma City did, so we had to plan differently. Sure. So we need to make sure that we pushed him out away, and then we gave him different looks every time he had the ball, because just making him
different looks. We had to give him different looks. They had an intricate defensive schematic. It was very intricate. I'm not an NBA coach, nor are you, Mookie. You said they ran a basic 2-3 in the NBA. You don't know basketball. Even I know they don't know that. You guys don't know that. You asked me about staggered screens. I broke that down. You asked me about 2-3. I broke that down. I didn't have time to sit here and listen to you asking about horn sets when we all know it's very simple. Where's the only fucking horn on a basketball court? What only part of the basketball court has a fucking horn section of it? The top of the fucking key. Where you get 2 guys to fucking set screens and you fucking create plays off of the fucking horn sets. Like, that's not hard to understand, nigga. I'm not a basketball coach. Nigga, I don't play basketball recreation-wise as far as coaching and shit like that. I don't care about all of that. I know that Mark Cuban's right, though. You're not. He's telling you exactly what they did. You're not telling you what they did. You're telling us lies, just like you said about Jason Terry, just like you said about everything else on your fucking live. You lied. Michael Jordan did fucking choke because again, I didn't bring up regular season stats. I don't compare regular season to playoffs. I compare playoffs to playoffs. The regular season and the playoff are 2 separate entities. I never do that. The same thing when I always tell you guys about defense. I never go off of rating. I never go off offense, off of rating. When you hear me speak this, I talk about points per game. And when I talk about the actual aspect of somebody choking in the playoffs, it is predicated on what you were doing in the playoffs. The playoffs are different than the regular season. I don't hold players to what they did into the regular season to the playoffs. So when I said Michael Jordan dropped in all those numbers was what he was doing from the playoffs to the regular season. And I have those numbers here to prove it to you. Everything that I have it here, sir. So I'm not the one who's lying. You are. Let's let Mark Cuban continue, then we can let y'all speak.
Just forcing him to make a decision, right? To think about what he had to do. Taking the time to read. Are we in a zone? What type of zone we're in? How are we matching up?
Oh, wait. What type of zone we in? He has to figure that out on the fly. You can't even figure that shit out, and you got 24 hours on your live, and you can't tell me what kind of zone they ran. You don't know. Mookie, what kind of zone were they running versus the Miami?
No, can I speak now?
Versus the Miami Heat. Yeah, what kind of zone were they running against the Miami Heat? What kind of zone were they running against Miami? You got to answer the question.
If you watch Game 4, Game 5, and Game 6, in those fourth quarters, they ran a 2-3 zone. They had 2 players on the top of the key, which was Jason Terry and Jason Kidd. They had 3 players on the back line, on the wing, and on the elbow, and they employed a 2-3 zone. They wasn't playing no 1-3-1. They wasn't playing a 1-3-1 zone. They was not doing that. That's not what they schemed.
That's what Herm said. That's what Herm said they were doing. That's what Herm said they were
doing. That's not
what
Herm
Herm said. That's what Herm. Just like you both of y'all don't know. They're not doing no basic high school 1-3-1. They're not doing none of that. They're not doing none of that. They're not doing none of that. They're doing intricate zones, matchups, and all kind of different shit.
Hold on. You sound like you're over talking. Now, what I said is that they played 2-3 zones, and Mark Cuban is right. They did sometimes at stretches in the game to like the first quarter, second quarter. They played matchup zone principles while you had Dirk Nowitzki.
Based on what? Where are you getting this information from? Because Mark Cuban didn't say all of that. So stop saying what Mark. Where are you getting this information from? Because you don't have no eye test to trust.
It's watching film and watching.
It's not watching film because you said Jason Terry can't score. An elite. He wasn't an elite scorer. He was an elite creator. So we can't trust your eye test. What did Mark Cuban say? Did Mark Cuban say 2-3? Did he name the zones?
Jason Terry is an elite scorer. If you think Jason Terry elite scorer,
I didn't say elite scorer. He's an elite creator. He's an elite creator. You don't know nothing about basketball. Yeah, we got the film. We got the film.
This creation was scheme dependent. What are you talking about? They were running.
It wasn't what scheme? You don't know schemes. What schemes?
What schemes? His creation was off of fucking scheme dependent. It was off of pin down flares. They would have Jason Terry either when Dirk bends the defense and they were sending 2 to the ball, or they had someone playing the gaps. Then Jason Terry would occasionally attack off of closeouts. But he was not no fucking elite creator. They didn't go to him and create a fucking elite offense. You fucking casual, nigga. You don't know nothing about basketball.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, here is Mookie lying. Here is Mookie lying. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is all the stuff that he said that Jason Terry don't do, Jason Terry is doing. Isolation basketball. Right here on Dwayne Wade. This is on LeBron James. Isolation creating his own shot. Bang. In your mouth. This is your eye test. Come look at this, motherfucker. Come see.
Okay.
You don't have no eye test. No. That there's 2011 stats here. Look, don't bring up Synergy Sports. Let's go to this right here. Let's watch what Bill Walton says.
Jason Terry has scored 5 straight points in 43 seconds. His confidence level against Steve Nash, he just doesn't have any sense of fear whatsoever that Nash can compete with him in a one-on-one isolated matchup.
Mookie, did Bill Walton call that a one-on-one isolation matchup?
Was that 2011?
It don't matter.
What date
that
was
is
our argument?
Bro, wait a minute.
Jason Terry was not no elite creator in 2011. You don't know basketball. He was one of the worst isolation players in the league.
Wait a minute. Here we go. You have no numbers to say that. You have fake numbers to say that.
This is not 2011.
Wait. This is 2011. This is him going past Dwayne Wade. This is 2011 in the finals going past. Yes, that is. What do you?
That ain't no pin down.
Hey, bro, you embarrassing yourself, bro.
You
embarrassing yourself, bro.
This is not 2011.
This is not 2011, bro. No, that's not 2011, bro.
What does it say on the floor, Mookie? What does it say on the floor, Mookie?
That is not 2011.
Mookie, ladies and gentlemen, where does it say on the floor, ladies and gentlemen?
Who's on the court right now if it's 2011?
That might be 2006, though.
That's 06. You don't know basketball.
Wait, that is 2006. All right, my bad. Hold on. Wait. Here we go. Wait. Hold on, wait. Here we go. This is 2011. This is 2011. This is LeBron James. This is 2011, sir. This is isolation basketball, sir. Him creating his own shot, sir. You asked me if he was an elite creator. Why would he not be an elite creator in 2011 when he was balling all 2011? Why wouldn't he be doing all these same things? Why are you taking away what Jason Terry actually does, sir? Why are you doing that?
Oh, excuse me, D-Wade. What? Shaq ain't one jump.
Look, what are we talking about here, sir?
I don't need no screen, Dirk. I don't need
what
no
are we?
screen.
This is 2011 right here. This is 2011. So Jason Terry can't create his own shot. Is that what you're trying to say? He can't create his own shot? That's a lie. I didn't meet my match, ladies and gentlemen. He said that Mookie said that this guy can't do that. I have a whole bunch. This is 3 minutes worth of footage of Mookie.
Jason Terry has scored 5 straight points in 43 seconds. His confidence level against Steve Nash, he just doesn't have any sense of fear whatsoever that Nash can compete with him in a one-on-one isolated matchup.
He just said it, one-on-one isolation matchup. I'm not making this up. He's been doing it his whole career. Again, he's asking if he was a creator.
He says,
I feel like he kind of moved the goalpost again because he switched from Jason Terry being a creator to was he a great creator in 2011 once you showed the highlights.
But
so it's like
no, but
even the 06 clip, you show the 06 clip. So damn. So if he's doing that 5 years later, that means what did I say? He's been doing it his whole career.
yeah, he's been doing that his whole career pretty much. So he's not just a shooter.
Okay, this is the synergy number he was talking about. And again, if you are a GOAT James Kingdom member, the link to today's show is available in the GOAT James Kingdom community on GJK. Go there and see. And go see the things there. What's it called? Go see the link there. And you can join Twin Man and everybody else. Here we go again. Dookie don't care how wrong he is. He's going to stay in denial. Again, he wants to use these numbers. These are just scoring. He didn't ask me if Jason Terry was an elite scorer. He asked me if Jason Terry was an elite creator, which means Jason Terry can create shots for himself and his teammates. He can do that.
And that's late game stuff.
Lamont, I know you run staggered for great creators because that's what they don't understand. He kept bringing up the staggered offense. He kept lying. He bringing up synergy numbers. None of these numbers exist in NBA. These are not real numbers. They don't exist. That's the sad part.
What was the point of the Jason Terry thing?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay. The point of the Jason Terry thing is exactly what I always tell you with Zesty Jeffries. They can't talk basketball, so they want my opinion. They want to know how I feel about something. So his question was, who was an elite creator outside of Dirk Nowitzki for Dallas? Because I kept trying to explain to him how Dallas had a better roster than the Miami Heat.
Now, if you're talking about elite, Dirk was the only elite creator. Now, if you just talk about creators, period, Jason Terry can create, but he's not elite, though. He wasn't elite.
Jason Terry is elite at creating a shot and creating plays.
It was a messed up question. I think that was a messed up question in general. But if you talk about elite, no, hell no, Jason Terry is not an elite shot creator. But he can shot create. He can score the basketball. But when you put elite shot creator in there, that's a whole different story. And Dirk was the only elite shot creator on that team.
So he didn't say shot creator. Hold on. He didn't say shot creator. He didn't say shot creator. He said creator. So that means
Dirk was the only elite creator. But if you just talk about creators in general, no.
Based on what, Herm? Based on what, Herm?
I mean, Jason Terry never been an elite creator. He never been an elite creator. Never been.
On what? What are we basing? What is an elite creator? What is an elite creator?
Elite creator. I mean, hey Johnny, you the one arguing it. You need to explain what elite creator is. I don't. I'm just saying,
all right. So are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let me? Are you going to let me? Are you going to let me? Herm, you just said you didn't know, and then you want to go on your soliloquy. Go ahead. So tell us, please, Herm. We want to hear it. What is it? Tell us. Herm, you got the big screen. What is it? What is an elite creator? Again, see, look, this is what they do. I didn't put him on mute, ladies and gentlemen. He did that to himself. I didn't put him on mute. Again, he gave a vague term to argue, Ishmael.
I'm back. I can answer that question. I'm back. I just had a phone call. That's why I didn't answer. But when it comes to the elite creator, that's basically being the primary playmaker and floor general on the floor. He was average at those two things. You know what I'm saying? He's average being the primary playmaker and average being the floor general. He's average in both of those areas. Can he do those things? Yes. But he's average in both of those areas. So when you mention the word elite, that's a different conversation. Now, if he just said, was there anybody other than Dirk Nowitzki that could create? Now, that's a different conversation. You would be 100% correct. But when he said elite, he was correct on the elite proportion. You was wrong, on that aspect, but just the creator in general, yes, you would have been right. But y'all said elite, so he was right about that. Dirk was the only elite creator on the team because he was elite in playmaking and he was an elite floor general. Jason Terry is not elite in neither of those areas.
Again, playmaking is the same thing as floor general. It's passing the ball facilitation. Jason Terry is elite at creating a shot for himself, and he's also Herm. I let you speak, bro. This is what I'm saying. We just heard you say it's not. So why do you have to say it after I said it? Why, when I start talking, you have to reiterate your bullshit? We just heard you for the last minute speak for 60 seconds. Why you think he's not? So when it's my turn, you don't have to say it again, nigga. Fuck. He is elite at creating his own shot, meaning he can create off the dribble. He can attack the basket. He can go left. He can go right. He can actually shoot the fadeaway jump shot. He can pull up from distance, close. He can finish. He can dunk. He's athletic enough. He has all of the elite abilities that you want from somebody who can create their own shot. We just gave you, again, a whole footage of different scenarios, different shot selections, different plays called for him to create a shot. He is elite at creating the shot. We didn't say he was an elite scorer. That's a difference. That's a difference.
He is not an elite creator. He is not an elite shot creator, John. If that's the case, Jason Terry would have been in the runs in his career as being a guy that averaged 25 or better. He's never been.
Herm, we're not talking about scoring, Herm. We're talking about creating.
He never been an elite scorer, Johnny.
We're not talking about him scoring. We're talking about him being elite at creating his shot. He can create his shot at an elite level. And he can play make. He can pass. He can make the passes. He can make a bounce pass, a chest pass, one-handed pass, behind the back pass. He can make the pass. He can make the right read. So as a creator, he is an elite creator.
He's not elite, bro. Come on.
He's not an elite scorer because he can't average 20 plus on a consistent basis. You want to be
not coming off the bench.
That's what you have to say. That's what
he's not elite though. He's good.
He's an elite creator. He's an elite creator. Herm, you asked me to give you the definition, Herm. I'm giving you the definition because again, he didn't provide a definition.
I gave you the definition.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. No, your definition, you left it out. You said it was basically floor general and ball facilitation. That's not it. A creator he's talking about is somebody who can create their own shot. He wasn't talking about ball facilitation, which is why he brought up the synergy numbers, because the synergy numbers have nothing to do with assists and passing the ball. It's all about how many points he scores on each possession for those particular sets that they were running for him, which are also fake numbers as well. They're not accurate to the NBA. So at the end of the day, what he does as far as creating his own shot and shot for his teammates is elite. He was very elite at it. He did it for a very long time. And in 2011, he was one of the most elite shot creators. Jason Terry was deadly.
He's not elite, bro.
Yes, they used to close out games with him all the time. They used to give him the ball in crucial moments.
They used to do the same thing with him like they did with Jamal Crawford.
We got Lamont in the building. Shout out to you, Lamont.
Yo, what up?
Man, Lamont, you know that nigga not elite. Man.
Hey, I think only thing I think the problem is here is that, and I think this is the problem with sometimes with basketball talk, is I think people start to mix up and start conflating terminology that they don't fully understand. And I'm not gonna say Herm is 1,000% wrong, but I think Herm is mixing up the terminology because he's thinking about creating shots in the sense of a point guard. That's not shot creation, right? So you can just look at the Dallas offense and you know that Jason Terry was an elite shot creator because their entire offense was read and react. You don't have a read and react offense if the only creator you have on the floor is Dirk, right? When they put him, when Mookie was talking about the horn set, think about the horn set. The horn set, especially in a shot clock driven game, is for players who can make quick decisions on the fly. When you think about Jason Terry's game, especially in 2011, and even in that 2011 playoffs, he was an ISO player. He was his off the ball movement was crazy. That's shot creation. When you think about all of the things that make up a great shot creator, and look at what he did at the horn set. He scored at an isolation a lot. His pull-up shot was nasty. That's shot creation. His off the ball and off screen movement was elite, right? Everything that he did in the set, when you look at the high pick and roll ball screens that they ran, the horn sets that they ran, and they really didn't run a lot of staggers. They ran something called double drags. So they ran something called double drags for Jason Terry a lot. And when you run these double drags and you get that ball to a player like Jason Terry, you're not running double drags for a guy like Kyle Korver, because there's only one thing he can do when he touches the ball, which is loft up a shot. With Jason Terry, he's gonna play off the mistake. If you go under, if you try to cheat the double drag, you need somebody that can split when there's time to split. You need somebody that can get the shot up. You know, there's a multitude of decisions you have to make on the fly, and Jason Terry was elite at that. Now, was he responsible for averaging or scoring 30 points a game? No, that wasn't his job. But in the playoffs, when his number was called, he was elite late game. He averaged 17 points per game in the playoffs throughout the entire playoffs. And in his role, when needed, he was elite in his role. As a shot creator for that team, he was elite. Now, if you want to try to put him up there with the Kobe's and the top 5 shot creators in the league, okay, if that's what you're labeling as that can only be elite, okay, yeah, he wasn't elite like a Kobe or a Dirk. But in his role for that 2011 team, he was elite, which is why nobody, including the Lakers or even the Cavs, could stop it, because it was elite. That's why. And the offenses tell his role is not, and his production and the offense that they were running tell you that he was an elite shot creator. I think y'all it has nothing to do with playmaking or facilitating. That's the point guard role. That has nothing to do with shot creation. And I think y'all just conflating a whole bunch of terms.
But they do that on purpose, Lamont. They do that on purpose, because when I asked him, because I was going to ask him, are you talking about shot scoring or create? But he wouldn't let me speak. He was like, no, I said creator. So it's vague. It's a vague term. And Tyson's saying facilitator is not creator. The facilitator is a part of the creator. If you're creating a shot by making the right pass, that's a creation. That's what you guys fail to realize. Like, you guys are making that again. What he wanted to say is Jason Terry as elite as Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Dirk Nowitzki as a shot creator? No, he's not on their level, but he's still an elite shot creator.
Yeah,
you're talking about the elites of the elites.
Yeah, they're trying to go to the very top to use the top and say, yeah, that's the problem. You can still be elite and not be like Jordan at shot creation.
Now, if you would have said elite scorer, of course I would have said Jason Terry's not an elite scorer, because to be an elite scorer, you at least have to average over 20. But he didn't want to say that. He wanted to leave it vague to argue, because every time he asked me something he thought I was going to say something else on, I didn't say that. That's why they have a problem with Brandon and I. We don't say the typical LeBron James fans shit. So they're not you. They don't have no rebuttal. That's why he started bringing up other people, because he doesn't have no information for what I'm talking about.
We got Mookie says in the chat. He says most of his buckets came off pin downs, flares. This is what you call somebody just saying a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
exactly.
First of all, hold on. Here's the funny thing about it, y'all. You cannot tell Ajani.
You just pulled up the tape.
What happened to you, Lamont? You just broke out, Lamont. You just went out. You just said something about you. You said you can't tell Ajani. You said you can't tell Ajani. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I'm saying you cannot tell Ajani that they were running horn sets, but then try to tell us that most of Jason Terry's buckets came off pin downs and flares. Now I want you to think about this. If you know what a horn set is, how do you set a pin down for Jason Terry out of a horns action, especially with the shot clock running down? Because remember, it's a 1-4 high setup. Where the pin down coming from? Right. So the thing is, the man is talking about flares and pin downs. First of all, pin downs and flares stem from 5-out actions. Pin downs and flares stem from 5-out actions. Horn sets, what you're trying to do with horn sets is you're trying to go read and react. You're trying to be unpredictable. Most good teams, if you're trying to beat a good team, you're going to go to horn sets because it's so unpredictable. And by bringing 4 guys up, you clear the backside of the paint out. So now the other team, you kind of nullify any rim protection that they might have. So when he talks, so you cannot just say pin downs and flares and then run to Ajani talking about horn sets. Those two things don't necessarily go together. You're not running a whole bunch of pin downs out of a horn set. I want you to show me that. What play out of horns where with a 24-second shot clock are you going to be able to set up a pin down for Jason Terry where him to get 17 points? It's impossible, right? This is how you know they don't understand the things that they talk about. They just say stuff and they Google stuff, but they don't know. I'm a horns coach. Everything I do is out of horns, so I know this.
Is this a pin down? Is this a flare? Isn't this the ISO? What is this?
Play it.
Look, this is them coming out of an inbound play, right? Here we go. Look, let's watch.
So this will be an ATO. So this will look a little different.
Look. This is isolation. This is one-on-one. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? This is all. Look, this is not creating your own shot. What is that?
ISO. That's ISO.
Lamont, what are they running here? Are they running the horn set? What are they running here? Lamont, look, this is isolation, one-on-one. Create your shot. Find us the right shot, Jason Terry. And he can, because he can put the ball on the floor, and not only that, he can do a runner. This is not anybody can just do this.
Move back up here. I want him, and I want
he
you.
Has the link. He has the link.
If you could put a whiteboard on the screen, I want him to draw up the horn set and show us a horns play where you can get a pin down for Jason Terry when you have a 24-second shot clock and an elite defense in front of you. I want to see this, because by the time you bring the ball up the court in the NBA, you're looking at 16 seconds, right? 16 seconds, you got to get into your horns action really quick. That's why they ran double drags. That's why they ran a lot of double drags out of the horns, because they wanted to make sure Dirk or Terry always had the ball. That's why. They were not going to sit there and run pin downs like they're the Golden State Warriors or anything like that. I don't think he knows what these things are. He said running double drags for Terry. I mean, do you know what a double drag is or the purpose?
Lamont, what is this? Isn't this a regular pick and roll situation? But as the ball handler,
this is regular pick and roll right here.
Right?
Look,
okay, so wait. Why would you run a regular pick and roll with Jason Terry as your ball handler if he's not a good creator?
I guess you put your two best creators on the pick and roll because it's the hardest thing to defend on the court.
Look, what is he talking about?
Elite defender on him. Another elite defender.
That's ISO.
So, but he's basically saying is that what he's basically saying, Jason Terry lost these skills in 2011, ladies and gentlemen. By 2011, Jason Terry no longer could do this. That's what he's trying to. That's what he's trying to tell us.
He's not elite though. He's good.
I mean, at the end of it, like, what is the major point he was making, and why he's asking? I don't know if I missed the part.
You know what? Pin down some horn sets. Mookie, I want you to come up here. We're not talking about high school horns actions. We're not talking about college horns actions where you got 30 seconds on the shot clock. We're talking about in a 24-second shot clock game, because the one thing that changes everything in the NBA is the shot clock. Right? The first thing you're always trying to do is you're trying to find a way to get the most efficient shot in the least amount of time, because that shot clock, if you sit there trying to set up pin downs, which pin downs are very easy to defend. First of all, nobody in their right mind, no coach in their right mind is going to try to run a pin down out of the horns action. It's just going to take too long for it to evolve, right? Pin downs are going to stem from probably your 4-out 1-in sets. It's probably going to stem from your 5-out sets, but all these pin downs, I don't even think they had bigs good enough to set these pin downs, right? That's kind of a waste of a player, right? Where you're gonna have Dirk setting a pin down, like who's setting the pin downs? Like, this is dumb logic from people that don't understand offense. I'm a horns coach. The only reason why I know about horns is because I'm a horns coach. It's a European system. I love it because it's for horns is for dynamic guards. It's read and react, and it's unpredictable. I just don't think Mookie knows what he's talking about.
Lamont, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yesterday he said nothing of these pin downs, these horn.
Because they're Googling it on the fly. They're trying to Google stuff on the fly.
No, because he's saying this exactly. Because he's saying this because you can Google it, find it out, but he doesn't know when it's used, how it's used, or nothing, right? Because he asked me about stagger screens. He basically said that Jason Terry was scoring mostly on stagger screens. That's what he was telling me. That's why he was comparing him to Kyle Korver.
Does that stagger look like horns? This stagger is 5-out. This is a 5-out set. Staggers stem from 5-out. You can double drag out of horns because you got the two bigs already up top. So the double drag out of horns is probably the most popular type of drag action out of horns, and it's really good for dynamic guards like Jason Terry, especially when you got elite shooters like a Peja hanging around, or even a Dirk, other guys like that can knock down threes.
I mean, so, JJ Barrera was good off the dribble and things like that too, and he was able to create shot opportunities and play make and all them things as well. So we gonna say that he's elite, even though he had a successful series for us doing those type of things.
There's a difference between being elite in the NBA and being elite in your role. Jason Terry's role at being a creator for the Dallas Mavericks, for that Dallas Maverick team, he was elite. It was hard to defend. The best defensive teams had struggled to stop Jason Terry because they helped that system, and Jason Terry himself, being a great player, he did what he did. He did it at an elite level, well enough to win a championship.
And,
it wasn't
And no, and just for the sake of saying, just because JJ Barrera can do certain things that we would consider for the elite players, he doesn't do them all. He doesn't do all the things.
No,
he doesn't have the.
That. He
can't do the fadeaways. He can't do the fadeaways, the spin. He doesn't have the crossover tween, all that stuff.
He
didn't have
a lot of big shots. Bro.
Yes, he can drive to the basket. He can penetrate. He has dribbling skills. He can do that, but he's not a good shot creator off the dribble. He can't create his own shot off the dribble like that.
I just don't think
not at an elite level, Herm. Not at an elite level.
I don't think Mookie knows what horns action is. I don't think he knows how the horns action changes across levels.
We're not saying that anybody who can do these things are elite. Jason Terry is elite at it.
No, Jason Terry. No, you hyping up Jason Terry to try to.
Then how did he average 17 points a game in the playoffs if he didn't do it at an elite level?
That's not elite. That's not elite.
That is. He did. No, you're using elite in the sense of it having to be Kobe or Tracy McGrady or somebody.
So Andre Iguodala was elite.
No, Lamont, can you imagine somebody telling you microwave Vinny Johnson wasn't an elite creator? Can you imagine somebody telling you that, Lamont?
That's what I'm saying. He was elite, but he was elite in his role. He wasn't asked to go out there and be the best player.
That? Because he comes off the bench. That's like saying Ginobili wasn't an elite creator because he comes off the bench. Or Jamal Crawford.
JT is not on the same level as Ginobili, bro. JT is not on the same level.
Again, they might be better than but he's still in the. He could walk in the building with them. Yeah, he can't. Here's the conversation. He could be in the building with them. What are you talking about?
What's Andrew Bogut elite?
Hold on. Tell Mookie. Mookie, I can put my film up right now on my team running horn sets. I can put my film up right now.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom Rated R. I told you, you done messed up.
You can literally pull up a game.
You done fucked up. Yeah. He done fucked up. No, you don't have to question. Listen, you done fucked up like I told you, sir.
Still there? I just don't know. It seems like you're trying to speak.
And that's it. That man is not a real basketball coach.
My film is out there if you really want to find it.
Exactly. He doesn't do no real research. We got film of Jason Terry doing everything he said Jason Terry can't do. We got film of it, of him doing everything he said Jason Terry was. All these plays that we saw him scoring. And mind you, that's what I was trying to explain to him because he was. This is the point, Ishmael. The reason he asked the question was he wanted to establish that the Miami Heat had more elite creators than the Dallas Mavericks, so that means they should have not lost the finals. That was the purpose of bringing them. That's why they're fighting this, because to say Jason Terry is an elite creator is to basically give them some type of credence. To basically say, hey, they are legitimate. They were legitimate champions. Not that LeBron choked. That they had a legitimate team, a legitimate strategy and game plan through all of that.
Damn agenda, man.
That's not pushing an agenda. I'm just talking basketball, man.
You're making an excuse, bro.
That's not an excuse.
To normal standards. LeBron did not play to his capabilities, bro. That was a bad series.
Yes, he did. That has nothing to do with Jason Terry. That has nothing to do with Jason Terry being an elite creator. No matter how you feel about LeBron, it has nothing to do about him being an elite creator.
That was the only time in LeBron James' career that he averaged under 25 in the finals. That's not LeBron James' standard.
Give credit LeBron to averaged over.
LeBron James had a lot more to do with it.
And LeBron James has averaged 38
had a lot more to do with that than
LeBron James averaged over 38 points in the series and still lost. It has nothing to do with it. They were up in the series with LeBron James not scoring. That's why you guys can't talk the game. You want us to take the narrative.
I haven't said nothing about winning and losing. You bringing up winning and losing. I'm bringing up to LeBron James standards. He did not play to his standards. LeBron, they never averaged under 25.
Herm, but anybody with a brain. Herm, anybody with a brain can. I think the easiest thing to do, Herm, is to say LeBron James could have played better. But at the heart of what y'all are struggling with is this.
And ain't no y'all struggling
Herm,
with.
can I finish my sentence?
I mean, all you do.
Okay, Herm, can I finish my sentence, please?
It's true. Y'all don't let people speak. Herm, for real.
All I'm saying is this right here.
We gotta say.
All I'm saying is this. Mookie has a narrative that he's trying to push, which is to say that LeBron choked. He can only push this narrative if he also puts out the narrative that Dallas didn't have anything elite on their side. So you can, because it's hard to say somebody choked when you know that they're going up against elite competition. He's not. He
like
doesn't
Detroit in '88.
He doesn't want to give Dallas any credit because optic wise and accolade wise, they don't look elite. But when you dive deep into that team, They smacked everybody that was so-called elite. They smacked the Kobe's. But I don't hear this narrative around Kobe that he choked. People would shy away from talking about Kobe in 2011, right? They'll say he might have been injured, and they'll say it. But what they only use 2011 for in Dallas is they try to use Dallas, and they try to use them as if they were some trash team that lucked up and got to the finals. And then somehow these bunch of bums beat LeBron James, and LeBron James choked. This is not a choke job. This was a great Dallas team that played great defense. They didn't sit and run. Mookie was right to a certain degree. They did run a little bit of 2-3, but it wasn't standard 2-3. It was everything that they did zone-wise was out of the matchup zone principle. But they only ran 2-3 matchup zone as a disguise for the matchup 1-3-1. So they disguised 1-3-1 matchup zone with 2-3 matchup zone. Those were the switches that Mark Cuban was alluding to. And so, again, they just lie. They try to make these 2-3 zones seem basic. Like I say, and Mookie, you travel. If you're ever in Arizona, I got my team is always ready to play anybody. And we can bet. The money will go straight to my team. We can put money up, my team versus your 5. And I will spot you 10, 15 points. I will spot you 10, 15 points. That's how confident I am. And I don't run around talking silly horn stats. I actually do it. And I got games on my channel. Win, lose, or draw. I put my games on my channel against the best comp. He just talk horn set, but he don't actually have to do it in real life.
Again, what he wants to say is elite shot creator. He doesn't want to say elite creator because Jason Terry's an elite creator. Go get the team, y'all. Lamont's a real coach. You just said, listen, this is what we do in basketball and go James Kingdom. We talk basketball. You lied. You said Jason Terry cannot create his own shot, that he was only scoring off of the plays that they were running for him, not the fact that he was able to do it off his own ability and skill set. That he can. That's what you basically said. You compared him to Cal Korver. Cal Korver, over 80% of Cal Korver's 2-point baskets are made by assists. Over 60% of Jason Terry's shots by 2 points that he made 2-point shots are made by himself, are non-assisted. So he's not Cal Korver. You guys are just for the sake to say LeBron choked. And then when I brought up Michael Jordan choking, you want to say that I'm lying. And I got stats and I got everything. Even to the point to where they were upset, Lamont, because I was speaking to them about how before that playoff, the Miami Heat were not considered to be the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. So they overachieved. He got mad when I brought up Yahoo Sports right here. What does it say? It says Celtics, Lakers. They got one person who got the Heat and Lakers. They got Lakers and Celtics. Again, this is before the playoffs, not during the playoffs when the Heat were making their remarkable run and they were outperforming everybody. We're talking about before the playoffs, about how everything was going before the playoffs started. What do they have? Lakers and Bulls. Right? Bulls over Lakers. Lakers and Bulls. This is Yahoo, right? And ESPN, like I told them, this is from April 15th, and this is them having the Bulls beating the Miami Heat. Miami and Chicago with home court advantage. The Bulls weathered the wave after wave of attacks on Rose. Joakim Noah, a guy you won't give respect for. Carlos Boozer, you won't give respect for. Dominate the Heat's weakness in the paint. Supposedly, there's no weakness in Miami, Lamont. There was no weakness. They were an elite super team. Pat Riley is so upset he actually gets gray hairs. Bulls in 7. Bye-bye, Super Friends. Then they got the Bulls in Chicago. This is before the playoffs. Then, like you said, they didn't want to bring up how Dallas was not favored to beat the Lakers. The Lakers were heavy favorites versus Dallas. And they got swept. Jason Terry went ham. Jason Terry shot over 58% from the field, over 60% from the three-point land. Damn near averaged 20 points per game versus Kobe Bryant. And all of that, they didn't want to let me cook Lamont on. That's what they do. They don't let me speak on this.
Did they do all this just to say LeBron choked in 2011?
Yep. That's all they want to do is talk about 2011. That's it. That's all they wanted to do. That's all they wanted to do.
So y'all don't understand.
Don't know basketball.
Sometimes teams get hit in the mouth, and sometimes they get thrown off an underestimated team. Honestly, I think they underestimated Dallas, just like had the Lakers in 2004 underestimated Detroit, and Detroit hit them in the mouth. they was to play again, I don't think they would have beat the Lakers again.
How do you
But we don't.
underestimate a
But
team
nobody
that
cares
shot
about that,
back to
Herm.
back?
I'm just saying.
But nobody
So,
cares about that, Herm. Nobody cares if about what
how
happened
you,
was
how
they
you don't
lost.
care? You arguing about it, trying to
No,
say
because y'all
LeBron
are
didn't
no,
choke, nigga. So
no.
you
What
got
I'm
to care about it,
no,
nigga.
what I'm
You
arguing
arguing with
about.
Rated R Sports
No,
up in
what I'm
this bitch.
what I'm
So you
arguing
got to
about.
care about it, nigga. You
No,
arguing
what?
with Rated
No,
R
I'm not, nigga. What I'm arguing is the fact that you don't agree with my basketball takes. You want to argue my
I mean,
basketball
shit,
takes.
you a capping motherfucker. So hell no, I'm not gonna agree.
Again, that's y'all problem.
You
What am I
capping about
tapping?
Jason Terry?
I'm not, Herm. You're capping.
Yes,
Herm, we
you are
showed you
capping.
footage. Herm, we're not capping. It's just like you niggas won't let nobody speak. You mad, nigga. This is what this nigga said. I got cooked. I got mad. You guys do not cook nobody by not letting somebody get their takeoff. Herm, we heard how many times you said Jason Terry's not elite. You cannot break it down. You just want to compare him to LeBron James and Dirk Nowitzki. Nobody said he's LeBron James and Dirk Nowitzki. You didn't ask if they were on the level that he asked who are the other elite creators outside of Dirk Nowitzki. That would constitute a Jason Terry. With the basketball knowledge that I gave you and aspects of it, being able to shoot off the dribble, to be able to attack the basket, to be able to shoot on catch and shoot positions, to do all the type of things that you need a creator to do. The man could do a spin fadeaway. He can go left, he can go right. That's creation. That's the point of being a creator. There's not too many players who can do that, especially in the 2000s. Y'all act like the 2000s is like today's NBA where everybody can do that. Yes, if Jason Terry was in today's NBA, he wouldn't be elite because there would be way much more better players than him. But in the 2000s, especially 2011, Jason Terry was one of the elite creators in the game. He was winning. He won Sixth Man of the Year in 2009. Like he was not a bad player.
But they forget that he comes from that Lou Olson tree, like Mike Bibby and Jason Gardner and them, and Miles Simon, guards who could
those were all great creators.
Guys that can create all three levels, that could penetrate, that could get to the hole, that can shoot the three, hit the mid range, can go right, go left. That's why I be saying these guys don't watch basketball.
No, let's do this. No, wait, let's do this. Herm, is Scottie Pippen an elite creator?
He's more elite than Jason Terry.
But based off what?
Just off his skill set in general, and what he have shown and provided.
Based on what though, Herm?
What's no. I got what skill set? Label the skill sets. Label the Herm. Herm. We have not talked about Herm. See, look, now you don't want to speak. Look, when we want to talk,
you always mute me when I do speak.
No, because I'm asking you a question. What are the elite skill sets that Scottie Pippen possesses to be considered an elite creator?
He can create off the dribble. He's a guy that he's a great finisher at the damn rim. Scottie Pippen also a great playmaker, can dish the ball, pass the ball. He can score from various different ways, whether he's posting the motherfucker up, utilizing his size, whether he got bigger defenders, he could blow past them with his athleticism and his speed. Scottie Pippen can shoot the mid-range. Scottie Pippen is good off the dribble as well. And he can facilitate as well. He can do all those things.
So hold on, wait. Herm.
You just described Jason Terry.
Herm. Okay, Herm. You just described 8 different categories. Out of those 8 different categories, Jason Terry fits 7 of them, and the only reason he doesn't fit the 8th one. The only reason he doesn't fit the 8th one is I would give you Scottie Pippen is a better finisher at the rim than Jason Terry. I would consider Jason Terry an elite finisher at the rim. But everything.
Okay.
As far as creating,
we're talking. You guys, Jason. I learned something new, Jason.
See, look, you're not even letting me talk. This is what I'm saying. This is why you guys.
Jason Terry on the same level.
I can't do this, Herm. Like, you're not letting me tell you. You're mad now. You're mad because you just said everything I just said about Jason Terry 5 minutes ago. This is all recorded. Just like I'm about to show you everything that I did on Rated R's live. It's all recorded. I just said the same thing. He could shoot off the dribble. He could create his own shot in various different ways. He could attack the basket. You said he could finish at the rim. He can use his size and speed. He was very quick and agile. You put the wrong player on him, he's going right around him. All the things you said he could facilitate. All the things that you said Scottie Pippen does as an elite skill set for an elite creator, so does Jason Terry. Now, their production are different. We're not going to say that they had the same production. But in reality, they score about the same. Scottie's a 20-point per game average in his prime, and so is Jason Terry.
And Terry did that off the bench.
That's what I don't get with you guys. Like that like I don't understand this. Lamont, this like that's why I be going in on these niggas. And they think this is me crashing out. No, this is me exposing you. Because you're not giving me an opportunity to speak. So now I gotta show you how stupid you sound. You're all upset. You got some feedback issues there, Ishmael. But it doesn't make no sense. Lamont, this was the most epic. Lamont, this was the most epic shit ever, Lamont. The dude asked me, right, about synergy, right? You remember you brought up your synergy stuff. Are you there, Lamont?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. You remember you brought up your synergy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I specifically told these guys, here we go. Danny Mack says here, well, when Lamont brings up synergy numbers, Ajani got no problems with it. The numbers, again, that Lamont brought up from synergy were actual box score numbers. Lamont did not go get metrics and analytics from synergy to go tell you why Michael Jordan didn't guard his primary defender great. He didn't go by points per possessions, which didn't exist in 1988. The same way points per possession didn't exist in 2011. These numbers did not exist. So when you're sitting here trying to say, well, Lamont doesn't believe in these metrics. He uses it against you, which shows why you guys are idiots, because as soon as we use synergy, you guys don't like it.
And the problem with points per possession, if they do, let's just say they do want to go off points per possession. If you go off points per possession and you go off some of these synergy analytics, LeBron James is hands down the greatest scorer in NBA history. If you go off points per possession and a lot of the synergy analytics, right? He absolutely dominates and excels in points per possession with these same analytics. So if you use these same analytics to on LeBron, all you're going to see is LeBron in first place in almost all of them. So I think they handpick which ones they want to use. But if you actually use them, LeBron is like, if you go off points per possession and you look at LeBron versus Jordan, LeBron shits on Jordan in points per possession, like in almost any sense, off pick and rolls, off anything from the 3-point line. Like the crazy thing about it is none of this aligns with their logic that LeBron James isn't great. Right? It just makes him greater if you want to use those metrics.
Hey, listen. This guy said here, listen, Lamont, this is how they argue. Now, I was the one who said Scottie Pippen was on the level of Jason Terry just because he described Jason Terry while describing Scottie Pippen. This is how they do it, Lamont. They brought up the Anthony Davis argument yesterday. I never said Nikolai Joker was a better defender than Anthony Davis. That's how they want to argue. This is how the whole debate went yesterday. They kept saying stuff that I never said. You brought up the idea that Jason Terry is not a great or an elite creator predicated on his production, his stats, right? They're going off of his points per game. If we do that with Scottie Pippen, that would mean Scottie Pippen's not an elite creator. But you didn't do that with Scottie Pippen. You went to Scottie Pippen's skill sets. Why don't you do the same thing for Jason Terry? Why are you ignoring Jason Terry's skill sets? You see what I'm trying to say, Lamont? So they're the ones who can't talk basketball. You want to use, because you can't call Scottie Pippen a non-elite creator. That would be preposterous, because we know he is, and by his skill sets. But if we gave that to Jason Terry, how does that sound? That's why they can't talk basketball. They're the ones who talk basketball in narratives. This is not my narrative. Jason Terry being an elite creator, it's not even I didn't bring it up. I never used that. So I never needed that to give LeBron an excuse for losing or anything. You're the one who brought it up. You guys are the one who keep bringing up stuff. And then when we use it against you, you say it's not legit stuff to use. Then that means what you're talking is useless, because it's your information. It's your logic. Doesn't make no sense. And then you don't let nobody speak on top of that. Like, I get it. It's your show. I was going to allow him to get his soliloquy on, but when it's my turn to speak, it's my turn to speak. Herm, we let you tell us 8 different reasons to why Scottie Pippen was an elite creator. 7 of those was Jason Terry.
This is bad.
That Ishmael, this is the problem, but this is why I'm necessary. Because if you let these Zesty Jeffries bully people in basketball, you'll have people like Dookie here. That's what they call you in the comments, Mookie, Dookie. That you'll have these guys screaming out basketball terminology and using them incorrectly. So, as an example, Lamont, you're still here. They brought up points per possession, right? This is what he was trying to say is why Jason Terry is not an elite creator, because as far as a pick and roll handler, he is in the 40th percentile in points per possession at 0.81.
Yeah, but that's for the whole season, right?
That's for 2000, and that's only for scoring, because that's only for scoring. So why didn't you say is he an elite scoring creator? Why did you just say creator? Because you're not counting passing, you're not counting creating a shot for a teammate.
But even again here, what you're doing is you're conflating the Dallas Mavericks' entire season, which doesn't take into account injuries, how many games he played, usage, and because remember, Jason Terry in 2011 was elite in the playoffs, right? Don't conflate what he did in the regular season with what he did versus the Lakers or what he did versus the Miami Heat in the finals. What he did, and I guarantee you, if you pull these same metrics versus the Lakers and versus the Miami Heat, those numbers are sky high.
Well, he gave us the 2000. This is 2011. So, but look at his off ball. So being an off screener, off the screen is not shot created for some reason for them. That's not shot creation, right?
Off ball screening is shot creation.
Okay, cutting. They said cutting's not shot creation.
Cutting is shot creation.
They only wanted to talk about handler and isolation. So in isolation, he was 0.86, and in handler he was 0.78. So he only dropped 0.3 in from the playoffs. But again, but look how he skyrocketed. Right, off spot up shooting, how he skyrocketed off the screen, off screen ball handling or whatever, a pick and roll, off screen pick and roll, right? So but these numbers don't tell you if he's elite or not, because they didn't define these as being an elite. So when I asked him where these numbers come from, Lamont, right? He says it comes from Synergy, right? And I tell him, well, if we go to NBA.com, the NBA.com don't have these numbers. These same exact numbers that you're spewing out are not on NBA.com. So where is Synergy getting these numbers from? He says Synergy's been doing this since 2005. I said, but if NBA.com don't have these, are not accurate numbers. Because if they were accurate, they would be on NBA website. And we all know Synergy actually tracked these numbers for the NBA.com since 2016. So why don't they have the actual numbers?
This looks like it was screenshotted off Twitter.
I know.
This don't look like Synergy. Like if you ever logged into Synergy, this don't look like Synergy. It could be from Synergy, but it don't look like Synergy.
I know, even I got you, Lamar, but even with that, I'm not even going to argue, because that wasn't even my argument. My argument isn't that. My argument was that if it's not coming from NBA.com, it's not accurate. And that's what he didn't want to accept. So when we go to NBA.com, you see it says play type, right, Lamont? Right? Where does it says isolation, right? That's what's in there, right? Transition, pick and roll handler, pick and roll man, post up, spot up, handoff, cutting. These were all the metrics that he was supposedly showing for 2011. But guess what? We can't go past 2016. So my take was those are not accurate numbers. Synergy does do a good job of tracking these information, but it's not accurate, because there was no way to accurate.
The problem is, here's the problem. This is one of the reasons why I believe it's not from Synergy, because the NBA signed a partnership agreement with Synergy. So if those were Synergy numbers, they would be incorporated here, because those are player track. Like in the NBA gets the bulk of its, Synergy got bought out and they have a different name now. But it's essentially the same company. They partner with the NBA. The NBA uses the same player tracking that Synergy originally, as it was originally called, Synergy uses. So if it was from Synergy, it would be on here. That's why I say I don't think it's from Synergy, because if it was, it would be on here.
But that's my point. That was my point right there, Lamont. If it is on NBA.com, there's no discussion. We could talk about it from there, right? We can discuss it from there, right? But let's just go to the most elite of elite guys, right? When we're talking about isolation and points per possession in today's NBA. So let's go to the guys who do it the most, right? So obviously James Harden, you got Jason Tatum, you got SGA. These guys are doing it at 1.1. These guys are doing 1.1. So here we go. Zion Williamson is 0.89 in isolation. Does that mean he is horrible? That means he's not an elite creator? Is that what that means? Because he's at 0.9. Davion Mitchell's not that great of an elite creator. Kawhi Leonard is 0.79 per possession in isolation. Does that mean Kawhi Leonard is a bad elite creator?
That's Mookie's favorite player. That's Mookie's favorite player.
Right? And I'm looking at it right here. It's 0.79. It's worse than Jason Terry. This is for the 2025 NBA season. Are we going to say Kawhi Leonard is not an elite creator? Is that what we're going to say? Tyrese Maxey is not an elite creator because he had 0.87. You see what I'm trying to say, Lamont? So like they want to use these numbers, but they're not being accurate. They're misusing these numbers. So they're running around here telling us these numbers mean something, but they don't. That's not the truth. Anthony Davis, here we go, Lamont. Guess what Anthony Davis point per possession is when we're talking about isolation basketball, and they call him the elite player that he's supposed to be. Guess who it is? Guess what it is?
0.63 is nasty.
0.63. So can I say what? Now, remember, Lamont, we had my show recently. I said that my problem with you guys is that I don't need the stats to tell you what my eyes see. The problem is that when I tell you guys what my eyes see, the stats validate what I see. But when you guys tell me what you see is out there, and then we go to the stats, it's not in the stats. That means what you saw is a lie. So when I told you Anthony Davis is not good at scoring all on his own, that he needs help, that he needs to be put in the right position to score, this would be validate for me based off Mookie's logic. Am I correct, Lamont?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I not know how to talk basketball? Is Julius Randle at 0.79 not an elite creator? Is Chris Paul at 0.86 not an elite creator? De'Aaron Fox, 0.85 is not an elite creator? This is an isolation basketball. Let's go to pick and roll handler because they were saying that those were weak. Let's go to more. Darius Garland, 0.85 as ball handling pick and roll per possession. Jaylen Brown, 0.89. Mikal Bridges, 0.80. None of these guys, ladies and gentlemen, predicated off of the silly information that they brought up on Rated R's information, are elite creators. Derek White is not an elite creator, Lamont, 7.8. Franz Wagner is not an elite creator, Lamont, 0.78. Banchero, Lamont, is not an elite creator at 0.7.
This be the wild stuff.
This is what happens when you start using analytics wrong, Johnny. I told you.
When you use them wrong. That's what I'm saying, Lamont. That's what happens when you use them wrong.
Yeah, I remember I told you.
That's what happens when you use them wrong. Like all they did was lie, and that's what we're about to do right now is show you how much they were lying during debate. Just lying their ass off for no reason at all. Just because they can't take LeBron James's greatness. And that's all he wanted to do was talk about LeBron James. That is it, Lamont. That's all they wanted to do. So here it is. He brought up these fake numbers. Like Lamont said, this is not even synergy because I don't even know where synergy is. It doesn't say synergy. It says determined by frequency. Bubble size determined by frequency. So that even tells you on the top, Lamont, that it's not an accurate number. It's a bubble size determination by frequency.
I can find out where it's from. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm about to find out where it's from right now.
Again, if we look at the information that's on the bottom, let me get this out of the way. It says what? Cut basketball, isolation basketball, off-screen basketball, pick and roll handler, roll man, spot up shooter, and transition. All of that was in player type. None of that was in tracking. And Synergy's been providing this to the NBA since 2016. So why wouldn't they give them 2011 if they've been tracking it since 2011? These are liars. Zesty Jeffries are liars, and that's why they are safe in their sanctuary. That's why he ran from this live right now. He kicked me off the live, and I stayed there and was ready to get back on. I kicked him off the live because he wouldn't let me speak. He kicked me off the live because he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I want him to be on the live, but you got to let us speak. This is why you get cooked. This is why you get exposed by the exposer. I told you, don't fuck with me. I'm not the one.
You think your shit is that bad, man? You got that much juice? Goddamn right. Don't nobody fuck with me.
You still alive? I'm a goddamn cat.
That's motherfucking right. I'm a goddamn cat. I'm still here, and you a liar. You're just a liar. Ishmael, you got anything to say? Because you've been kind of patient, brother.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out the noise issue that I've been having. So, I don't know. I'm just watching. so, but the thing is, so with the points per possession thing, does it like, I don't get it. So it's like, he's saying that Jason Terry is not a good creator. So then that means that, that the Dallas Mavericks should have never lost because they didn't have enough shot creators as the Miami Heat. Is that what he's saying? Even though like shot creation can be off the ball from what I understand, right?
Yeah, of course you can, bro. Of course you can. Isn't that what they say Stephen Curry does all the time? Isn't that what they say?
I always thought that in basketball, it's a skill to be able to move without the ball. That's a form of creating shots when you're finding like spacing and whatnot. Like Ray Allen was very special in that. I remember watching him with all the different type of cuts that he would do, and so that I mean that's part of basketball. I mean that's also part of creating your own shot when you're able to find spacing on the court and you're able to move out the ball. So I mean it's like the whole ISO thing and whatnot. I don't really see how that matters anyway. For the most part, whether if a team has more shot creators or not, that doesn't mean the team is better. So I don't really understand the logic he was trying to spew. And it just sound like just trying to diminish LeBron James.
No, because you got to remember, Jordan and Kobe are ISO kings. To them, LeBron can't be put in an ISO situation and take advantage off the perimeter. These are the false standards they want to spew.
So I mean, that's kind of dumb. I mean, in real basketball world, like I've seen teams like you've seen teams without all those elite so-called shot creators that play ISO ball. That don't mean a team's going to win. The better team is the team that has the better team at the end of the day. Like I've seen teams where it's guys a bunch of white dudes, right? They didn't have all the handles and the ISO and all that other stuff, but because they had the fun, they worked as a team, as a unit. They played with great fundamentals, and then they knew they weren't trying to showboat and stuff. They end up winning against the team that had all the ISO players that was black and the handles and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like that doesn't do anything at the end of the day. Like it's just all about. I mean, it's like people need to keep it simple sometimes, instead of trying to find all these loopholes and arguments. It just kind of looks really stupid at the end of the day. Jason Terry's not a shot creator, so he's not an elite shot creator. So that means like LeBron James was choking.
Stop getting out of the way. It was elite creator. He didn't go to shot creation.
Okay, my bad. Elite creator. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. The point is that they ask us questions that they think are rhetorical questions. They think these are questions that automatically have the right answer. That means I was supposed to say.
I mean, I know you're right. You're throwing him off. I got you. You're throwing him off with the answer because, like, you're entitled to your opinion whether that Jason Terry is an elite shot creator, and they think that you're old. Yes, I get it, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, why go through all this shit? Like, oh, it's supposed to be this, and then. Which is kind of funny because then you throw them off with your own opinion. You're like, bro, you don't know basketball. Bro, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's funny as hell. But it's like, just for them to go through all this shit, it's like, bro, if you just believe LeBron James didn't play good in 2011, then just keep it that. You don't have to do all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then just like disagree and that's it.
No, they got to because they're trying to convince themselves. Let me address this, Zesty Jeffrey. He says, tired of no one addressing rule violation. What rule violations, bro? If you violate a rule, you get a penalty. What are you talking about? That's it. He goes, this is not a sport anymore. GJK, address my point. Stop watching the sport. Stop watching Goat James Kingdom. You're not a fan. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about you non-basketball fans and what y'all got to say about the game that you don't care to watch. If it's horrible, don't watch it. Just like I don't like football, so you're not going to catch me on anybody's football platform telling them you guys are horrible for watching this sport. They don't even play it like the way I liked it. Can you imagine me complaining every time to an NFL fan about how the league is softer now? And that it was better when we used to see guys get their head crushed on football. It was great when I saw legs. Like, nobody wants to hear that shit if you're a football fan. So because they're watching the game. That's it.
I feel like you haven't really gotten to like the meat and potatoes. You haven't really gotten to a lot of other points throughout you guys' like dialogue. Is it because it's just like
here? We about to right now. It's right up here. We about to right now. I'm about to show you. We about to get to some.
Can I give my take? Can I just point out something that's really amazing to me?
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about the defensive scheme for the Dallas Mavericks. You're literally playing the owner of the team. And what the owner of the team said, and he really came up here and said, nah, they played simple 2-3. Who am I supposed to believe? You are the owner. And even Mark Cuban in that film sat here and said, you're diminishing what we did to just sit here and say he played bad.
Facts. Fact. See, that's exactly what he said.
So this is what I don't understand. If I'm looking at the owner of the team who has access to the head coach, the scheme they're going to run, this includes the offense and defense, I think I'm going to believe him over you because you want to sit here and say one person, no one's disputing LeBron James didn't play well in 2011. Who said he played great?
I dispute all the time. That's why they get mad. That's nothing they get mad at me because I don't think LeBron James played bad.
Now, hold on. I'm talking about to what we normally see LeBron James do in the playoffs. 2011 was not his best performance in the finals. It just wasn't. I can say that as
it was his worst performance in the finals. I'm not going to say that, but I don't think LeBron James played bad, and I don't think he played out of his element.
No, when I say he played bad, when I'm talking about him playing bad, Ajani, when I'm talking about him playing bad, Ajani, I'm talking about compared to his other performances.
Yeah, but he was never asked to do what he did in the 2011 finals any other time. That's the point.
I get
to ever do that any other time in his career. That was the only time in LeBron James' career he was asked to do exactly what he did, and he still did it. That's why he didn't like it. He was upset because he was like, "This is what you want me to do. I'll do it." Because he's a team player. He's not like Mike, where if the coach tells him stop shooting, Mike's gonna be like, "Nah, I need my 30 points, though, coach." He's not doing that. He's gonna play with the system. That's why he went to Miami for it, to actually have the help for someone to tell him, "Well, we're gonna do it this way." That's the point. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Twin Man. Go ahead.
My point is this. What is the point of this? And why do we keep dwelling on 2011 like he didn't win back-to-back chips after that? I don't get it. Why are we acting like he didn't have the greatest comeback in finals history? Why we ain't acting like he didn't win a championship in 2020? What are we talking about? After that failure, if you want to call it a failure, he went on a historic fucking run. What are we talking about here?
Twin Man, give me 2016 Game 7.
I'm really about to leave. I'm really about to leave, Willie. I do not want to deal with your nonsense. I'm talking
No. Give me 2016 Game 7 LeBron. I'll wait.
Didn't he have a triple double? Didn't he have a triple double?
No. Give me the stats. Give me the stats. Give me all the stats.
Did he have triple double?
Give me the stats.
27, 11, and 11.
Give me all the field goal percentage. Give me all the
11, 11.
This is why I said I didn't want to deal with his nonsense. Now we got to move to the field goal percentage.
Hold on.
Do you realize he literally outplayed both teams? You realize that, right? LeBron James outplayed both teams. What are you talking about? Listen, hey Johnny, let me finish talking.
Nigga, you playing like a bitch.
Let me finish talking to you, bro. Because this is ridiculous.
Go ahead,
talking to you.
Go ahead, Twin Man.
So you can deal with his nonsense because I'm going to sleep. I've been in the 90-degree heat out at the range all day. I will never understand this obsession. I will never understand this obsession with literally trying to diminish one player.
See, look, this is how they can't wait. Like they can't. Look at they can't wait. Like they can't.
I will never understand it.
Hold on, wait. I gotta meet both of y'all. Peter, this is what I'm talking about, Peter. You see, out of everybody here who's been disruptive, who's been disrespectful, it's been the Michael Jordan fan base. It's been them. It's the LeBron haters. They can't hold look at him. They can't hold the conversation. They think that this is how a discourse between basketball is supposed to happen, and that they can just bully in any kind of way. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Like you can't talk basketball. Like he can't even let Twin Man get his take on. He can't let they can't let nobody speak. The man had 27, 11, 11, 3 steals and 3 blocks. He wants to know about field goal percentage. Just to be Zesty.
Against the top defensive team of the league that year. Now,
like they really want to go to that.
Hold on, wait. We gotta let Twin Man plane right here, and then I'm going to sleep, bro. my plane right here, and I'm going to sleep.
Land your plane.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say. Stats, accolades, and achievements are going to show what a player has done in his career. No one has done it better than LeBron James. If you have Michael Jordan as the GOAT, fine, that's your business. But at the end of the day, when you have to go to extremes to diminish other players, to try to diminish their skill sets, to make it seem like now Jason Terry can't play off the dribble? Are we serious? He can't shoot off the dribble? He can't do... Did someone really say that Kyle Korver was a better shot creator than Jason Terry?
No,
did someone say that?
He started naming all the different sets and stuff that they ran for Jason Terry. I said, see, they call plays for him. That's running plays for him. So that means what's it called? So that means he's
if they have a scheme. So this I'm gonna land it here and I'm leaving. Now this is common sense. Basic basketball. Now I understand that they can sit here and they can, set you up to be a catch and shoot player like Kyle Korver. Absolutely. But if they're hunting you for the mismatch in the scheme, that means you are able to actually score off the dribble and score using your skill set and create your own shot. So if they're able to run plays for you and put you in isolation, that tells you can score in isolation. That tells me you can shoot off, you can create your own shot. Hey, Johnny, what's wrong with people?
Bro, there's nothing wrong with them. They're Zesty Jeffries. That's it. Just like this guy, Peter. What was he asked to do in 2011? He was asked to be the main facilitator. He was asked to be the guy that got them into their offense because they were facing a tougher defensive scheme and a tougher defensive strategy. So for Dwayne Wade to be able to go off, hold on, somebody got some bad background noise. I got to mute everybody. So for Dwayne Wade to go off the way Dwayne Wade go off, for Chris Bosh to get the shots that he got, and everybody else get their shots that they got, they needed LeBron to be the facilitator because you couldn't get that from Mike Bibby. You couldn't get that from those guys. So you're not going to get that from those players. So he was asked to be more of a facilitator and the closer of the series, which in every other series prior to that and every other time that he played in Miami, it was between him and Dwayne Wade. When it got to the fourth quarter, they told him, no, it's Dwayne Wade's time. We're going to go to Dwayne Wade in every fourth quarter here. That was the game plan. It worked in game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4. The Heat just didn't complete the fourth quarter stretch. They were up in game 2 in double digits in the fourth quarter with LeBron James not scoring a lot of points. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter in game 4 without LeBron James scoring a lot of points. The strategy was to allow LeBron James to be the facilitator. He wasn't supposed to be the main shot taker and scoring, just scoring whenever he wants to outside of the sets and the offense that they're running. They had it off. That's why they changed their offense the next year. Like you guys don't want to talk the game of basketball. And I'm going to bring up Tyson here. Tyson said the issue is not whether LeBron James played bad. We all know he did. It's the fact that Ajani said Jordan choked at 89, 88 in all those years and didn't in 2011. That's context y'all leaving out. No, the context is, like I explained last night, was LeBron James the league MVP in 2011? Was LeBron James the fake defensive player of the year in 2011? Was LeBron James the scoring champ in 2011? Was LeBron James the fake steal title champ in 2011? Was LeBron James the all-star MVP in 2011? No. Did LeBron James lose to a team that had no all-NBA or all-defensive player on their roster in 2011? No. Was Jordan asked to not facilitate, not to score? No. He was asked to be the guy that was supposed to score 35, 40 points per game. He didn't do it. They were expecting Jordan to take 25 to 26, 27 shots per game. He didn't do it. They were expecting Michael Jordan to dominate offensively. He didn't do it. Those are the facts. The Heat did not expect LeBron James to dominate scoring-wise. They didn't ask him to do that. They told Jordan, this is your offense. Score. He couldn't do it versus Detroit because he couldn't shoot the perimeter shot, and they kept him out the paint. The same shit that y'all want to say LeBron choked in is exactly what happened to Michael Jordan in 1988. I gave y'all footage of the shit.
Question, Johnny. I got a question.
No question, because you guys always got questions. You're not gonna let me answer. We got Willie here. I'm gonna let Willie. I'm gonna let you speak. King Speech. So shout out to you, brother. But we got Willie here. Let's let Willie up here because Willie was always defending these Zesty Jeffries. What do you got to say, Willie?
What was Jordan averaging against the Pistons? I'm going to go from 88. Hold on. You asked me a question. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm patient. I'm 52 years old, and you ain't on my level. What was Jordan average against the Pistons in 88 playoffs, 89 playoffs, or 90? Pick one. And if you want to add 91, tell me what Jordan did. Tell the people. Tell the chat. Because you got a computer. I don't need a computer. What was Jordan giving them boys as with no all-stars, no Hall of Famers on his team? Because y'all like to use extra stuff. No all defensive players. No all NBA players. What was Jordan giving the Pistons? Field goal percentage, steals, everything. I'm talking a series because LeBron fans will give you a bad Jordan game, but I'm going to give you series. What was Jordan doing against the Pistons for a series? And okay, he had Pippen. Pippen came in 88, so that's 88, 89, 90. Because what y'all don't know is Pippen never had to prove himself as a rookie. He had Jordan. Jordan had to get out the first round. Pippen never had to do that because he had Jordan to do that. You can't say, oh, Pippen had to be proven to get out of the first round. So y'all carry a lot of weight on that, first of all. But give me Jordan's stats against Detroit with a no all-star Pippen averaging 9 points, 10 points, or whatever, because y'all like to use even y'all GOAT. Oh, my teammates. Oh, it's a team. Because we don't even use that shit. They ain't even in our vocabulary. Oh, well, Paxson or Pippen ain't do this. We don't even talk like that.
Are you saying like Jordan lost because his teammates?
I'm saying Jordan lost.
No. Okay, I'm asking you because my only question to you, Willie, and I like your point, Willie. My only question is,
I'm saying Jordan lost.
No, I got you. What I'm saying is Jordan lost. Okay, Willie, let me ask you a question. My question is, if Jordan statistically did everything he possibly could to win, did they lose because of his teammates?
No. I don't think Jordan did enough. Just like in 07 when LeBron was playing. I don't think he did enough. In 08 versus Boston. I don't think he did enough. In 09 versus
if he didn't do enough, he choked.
Yo, but see, what LeBron fans will never do is this. When they look at Jordan losing, right? And they look at LeBron losing, it's a difference.
Yep.
That's why we wear Jordans. Because even when he was losing, man, fuck that.
Jordan didn't do enough versus the Pistons. That's choking.
Okay, so you want to count?
Can I answer this question right quick, Lamont? Willie, you asked. Willie, I got to ask.
You want to do choking? Really, Lamont?
I'm just asking you. This is your logic, Willie. This is not my logic.
Willie, I got to get Willie.
Jordan shot.
Willie, I got to get to the super chat. If I got to get to the super chat, shout out to you, Dennis Murray, a Go James Kingdom member. He says, true LeBron haters show their true colors whenever they bring up 2011. It's so facts. All right, wait, Willie, you asked me to answer several questions for you. Let me explain something for you. You keep bringing up Scottie Pippen. Hey, remember, whenever we talk about Michael Jordan and his choking, remember, they always bring up Michael Jordan's teammates. They love to do it. They can't help themselves. They love to bring up the fact that Scottie Pippen. Look, I let him go. You see that? You see what I'm saying? They can't. It's my turn, bro. Shut up and listen. Scottie Pippen is why Michael Jordan got out of the first round, sir. He is exactly why he got out of the first round, sir. Bro. And without Scottie Pippen's play in Game 5 of 1988 first round, the Chicago Bulls would have lost in the first round again, and Michael Jordan would have been averaging 45 points like he was doing throughout those playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan played in 8 playoff series between 1988 and 1990. And 5 of those playoff series outside of Detroit, Michael Jordan was destroying the NBA. This is Michael Jordan in 1988 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at how great Michael Jordan was playing. This is the same playoffs. Look at these numbers. Look what Michael Jordan is doing. This is what they don't want to address. But as soon as Michael Jordan has to go up against a Detroit Piston team, all those numbers drop. everything. His field goal percentages, his assists, blocks, steals, points, all of it dropped. Michael Jordan's career average in the playoffs is 33 points per game. He only averages 30 points per game in these series. That means he's choking. But in this same playoff average between 1988 and 1990, Michael Jordan was averaging 36, 7, and 7 and 52%, including the playoff series with the Detroit Pistons. So he is underperforming by his standards in the playoffs. I never used it for the regular season, which is why you guys are all liars. I've always compared players to what they do in the playoffs. These are Michael Jordan's playoff numbers. He underperformed versus Detroit 3 straight years in a row. They continually embarrassed Michael Jordan. It was so bad that Michael Jordan was put on the cover of SI. He was put on the cover of SI because they was like, can anyone shut down Michael Jordan? Of course not, but Joe Dumars and the Pistons come the closest. Why? This is 6'4". This is not
very nice, Ajani. That's very nice.
That's not Clutch Sports. This is not Clutch Sports doing this. This is SI, a credible basketball source. This is credible information, ladies and gentlemen. Again, all the playoff series, again, in 1988 against Cleveland, Michael Jordan averaged 45 points. Against Cleveland in 1989, he averaged 40 points. Against the Knicks, he averaged 36 points in 89. Versus Milwaukee, he averaged 37 points in 1990. Versus Philadelphia, he averaged 43 points in 1990. Michael Jordan never scored less than 35 points versus any other team in the playoffs outside of the Detroit Pistons. When he goes against the Detroit Pistons, he puts up 27 points per game, 30 points per game, and 32 points per game in 1990, and he chokes in every playoff series. Every last one of them. And when
that's
I compared
amazing how that's a choke, Ajani.
Hold on, bro. It's amazing. You love to cut me off, but when it's your turn, I will fucking cook you too. Like I said, I'm going off of their numbers. You want to go off of what LeBron James did again? If you go off of what they did in the postseason compared to what they did in that same series, LeBron James did not choke like Jordan did. And if you want to say LeBron James choked, because that's not what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom. We don't believe in choking. We don't believe in meltdowns. But this is the conversation you want to have. And now that we have information to prove that you don't know shit and that Michael Jordan is the one out here choking, now none of this matter. So if Jordan didn't choke in 1988, LeBron didn't choke in 2011. It's your choice. You make the choice. Not me, ladies and gentlemen. These are all facts that I bring up. This is why he couldn't stand it. I got more for you.
Yo, chill, son. Yo, chill.
Here we go. From the regular season, Jordan went down 7.6 points, and he went down almost 3 field goal percentage from what he did in that playoff series. In the playoffs, he went down 9 points and 4.5 points from what he did in that playoff series. And if we go back from what he did from the series prior, he went down 18 points and almost 9 field goal attempts. LeBron James, from the regular season, yeah, you can say from the regular season he had a bigger drop than Jordan did in the regular season. But in the playoffs, he didn't. He only went down 5.9 points, only 3 shots. And if we go from the next series, it's not as bad as Jordan did from the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011 to what LeBron did in the finals. It's not as worse as Jordan's drop-off. So I'm giving you multiple aspects, multiple numbers to show you why Jordan choked. Why? And mind you, like I said before, LeBron wasn't the league MVP. LeBron wasn't Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron wasn't the scoring champ. LeBron wasn't the steals title champ. LeBron wasn't an all-star MVP. The only thing LeBron James was that Jordan was that year was all NBA first team and all defensive first team. After that, there was nothing else. That is why the Heat were underachieving the whole year. The Chicago Bulls won 50 games for the first time, and they haven't won it since the 70s, if you want to go there. So it shows you how much the Bulls were on a rise, and they lost to a team that had no all-NBA player, no all-defensive player, 1 all-star, and 1 20-point-per-game scorer. Jordan couldn't beat that team, who was running a regular defensive scheme of pushing him left. Y'all say that LeBron can't break down a basic 2-3. Jordan couldn't fix a defense that forced him left for 3 straight years.
Wild. You left out a lot of context, Johnny.
Go ahead, King Expose. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you. So when in 2010, the number 1, the number 2, and the number 4 players in terms of player efficiency rating all wound up on the Heat in 2011. Jordan didn't have the second player or the 4th player or even another top 10 player in player efficiency rating to take the heat off of himself defensively. Now again, okay, I see the drop-off, and we understand this. The Pistons said that there was the Jordan rules, and yeah, they did expose Jordan a little bit, but by his impossible 36-7-7 standards, he dropped off by 5% from field goal percentage and like one assist. So and 5 points. That's I mean, you know, again, when you average out the 3 years, he dropped off by a few points, right? From the way he was cooking everybody else. Now, when you say that the Detroit had no All-NBA Detroit, we all know that Detroit is one of the greatest defensive units of all time. Dennis Rodman. See, it's crazy. Dennis Rodman didn't make an All-NBA defensive team because he probably was coming off the bench. But we all know that Dennis Rodman was used on both him and Scottie Pippen in those series. Dennis Rodman. Now, so when you go later on in Dennis Rodman's career, of course he's an all-world defender, but we're going to skip to mention that Dennis Rodman was on that team. We all know that Joe Dumars was a great defender. We all know that Bill Lambert. And on top of that, they physically mugged him coming down the lane. They took away his best asset. So there's context that needs to be made. There is no Wade and Bosh surrounding Jordan. There's a young Scottie Pippen who had one good game 5, and you're going to say that got him out the first round. Come on now. Now, we all know in 89 and 90, Scottie Pippen was worse of a drop-off than Michael Jordan was against that same Detroit team. But we're not going to mention that either. But here's my last point. So many times when because even LeBron James himself said, the team lost, but then when y'all talk, he had the greatest comeback in 2016. Like Kyrie Irving was just sitting there in the popcorn stands. The team had the greatest comeback. The same way Jordan's team went 6-0. Jordan's team struggled against the Pistons. These are facts. And then Jordan's team.
No, that's what you're lying. The Bulls didn't struggle. If you go look at that series, all the Bulls played better than they normally played. Only person who played bad was Michael.
That's Scottie Pippen.
Yes,
come on.
Even Scottie Pippen. Again. This is exactly what Lamont said. What you guys are basically saying is that Jordan everything was on Jordan. So that means Jordan had to do his thing. And if Jordan didn't do his thing, his team lost. So since Jordan didn't do his thing, his team lost. It's the opposite for LeBron. Like you said, LeBron can lean on other players. So when he leans on other players and they still lose, you still want to blame him when he's leaning on other players. So you're even contradicting. No, wait. I'll let you go, Ro. I'll let you go, Ro. You're contradicting yourself. We're using, there is no difference. We're using your logic against you, and now you just said that. You just said that 6-0 is a team thing. You just said everything you just said is a team thing, which we always kept telling you guys. It is a team concept when it comes to winning and losing. You guys never accept it because you guys love to give credit to one person for winning and give the blame to one person for losing. Because that's the only way to make Michael Jordan the great. No, but I know you didn't do it. You had to not do that because I just gave you a barrage of information that you couldn't reiterate. So now you have to.
Guess what? In 07, everybody else. Hold
on, wait, Ro. Go ahead, Juan boy.
But you just did that. You brought up Dennis Rodman, Bill Lambert, and all these guys.
Well, I'm bringing up the opposition, though. I'm bringing up the opposition because the opposition was diminished.
Wait, Ro. Let him speak, Ro. Let him speak, Ro.
You brought up Bill Lambert, Dennis Rodman, and all these other guys that was playing defense.
But we can't bring up Jason Terry. We can't bring up Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler, and Sean Marion.
We can't mention Klay Thompson, Draymond Green.
Sean Marion before Dallas, he for five seasons in a row was a 20 and 10 guy in Phoenix. So that's like
Jordan may lose to them, nigga.
Hold up, and to you brought up with
Jordan may lose.
You asked what LeBron do in game 7 that he won with his 27-11 3-3. How about when Jordan's last game as a Bull? The Bulls took 67 shots as a team. Michael Jordan took 35. He only made 15, and every other Bull that scored shot better than 50%. And Jordan had 1 assist just to win by 1 point versus a team that was not historically great for their defense. You talk about Jordan all the time. How come you don't got no fucking Jeff Hornacek or Percy Hawkins jerseys in your closet?
Why you worried about
Because
that?
he played against a whole bunch of fucking bums, Willie. You don't talk. We could talk about.
Why you worried about that? That's your problem.
You brought it up.
Y'all worried about other people. Y'all worried about other people.
See, look, no, you're right. No, you're right. Ron boy, you're right. You're gonna go back and forth. Exactly. Now we're not supposed to worry about what you brought up. All excuses for Michael Jordan. All because Michael Jordan choked throughout the 80s. And you guys don't want to count that because you guys didn't watch basketball back then. It was on CBS. Why didn't Michael Jordan make CBS popular if he made NBC popular? He couldn't make CBS popular. He wasn't wild. Here we go. Again, this is all Michael Jordan choking in the playoffs. These are elimination games where Michael Jordan underachieved. Doesn't Michael Jordan average over 33 points per game in the playoffs? Why is he scoring under 30 multiple times in games where his team needs him the most? In elimination games, when Michael Jordan is supposed to be there for his team, and he's averaging less than 30 points. He's shooting less than 42% from the field in elimination games throughout the 80s that his team lost in. So he's why his team is losing. Y'all keep bringing up Scottie Pippen. I keep telling y'all, if y'all are blaming Scottie Pippen for the Bulls' losses, then you must give Scottie Pippen credit. Then you must give Scottie Pippen credit for winning the games. That's the facts. And that's why they don't want to let me speak, because this is what happens when you let me speak. You get exposed. You get exposed. And like I told you, Mookie, this is what happens when you step up on GOAT James Kingdom, nigga.
He's still there. I just don't know. It seems like you're trying to speak.
Yeah, it seems like you're trying to lie on GOAT James Kingdom, but you can't. You can't lie on GOAT James Kingdom. In fact, come to GOAT James Kingdom. So without further ado, because we want to get to watching the NBA playoffs, I want to get to the actual parts of the live to show you how these dudes act when they try to debate me. They're really not good at this. So let's go ahead and bring up some of this stuff. You guys can see it, right? You guys can see it on the top. We really don't need to see you. Just need
yeah, we can see it.
Is not sufficient to. That's funny because if we go to what LeBron James record is without him, if we go to what the Miami Heat record is.
So as you can see, they're not letting me talk. All right.
Yo, go ahead, Mookie.
Now watch. Look, they say go ahead, Mookie. Now.
I want to sit there and say, how can
all right, so now Mookie's gonna jump and get it. This is where we need help because he was getting cooked. I'm almost an hour into the live that he has on his YouTube channel, but this is well over an hour into the actual live on playback because he didn't. Get the fuck up out of here, bro. Get the fuck up out of here. Exactly. Lying. That's why you're a coward. Get the fuck up out of here. That's what I'm saying. This is how they look, mind you, this is how they're debating. Y'all are witnessing it. Let's watch Mookie. I'm gonna answer Mookie's questions. Watch this.
Yo, Jordan, your mom is a hoe. Don't ever mock no smack.
Hold on, wait.
I was on plate.
All right. Sit there and say,
look, listen to him. Watch what he says.
2011 Dallas Mavericks in the Miami Heat. When the Dallas Mavericks, when the Miami Heat was overwhelming in February, and then when you look at the Miami Heat, this defensive personnel, diversity that they had, you had more like LeBron, Wade, Bosh, Chalmers. You had guys that they were really good at lately to be able, like ice covers, hard edge, being able to switch. And then when you look at LeBron James and D Wade, they were solid level defenders that year, and also they were elite offensive players.
Did you hear that, Lamont? Did you hear what he was saying about what the Miami Heat players can do? Did y'all hear that? Are you there, Lamont? I don't think Lamont's there. No, Lamont. Did y'all hear what he said about how they could all the stuff that the Heat players can do? Mind you, give all the Heat players praise, and he won't give nobody else any praise.
When the Miami Heat was overwhelming in February, and then when you look at the Miami Heat, this defensive personnel and diversity that they had, you had guys that could be able to switch for like LeBron, Wade, Bosh, Chalmers. You had guys that could to be able to ice covers, being able to switch. And then when you look at LeBron James, they were solid that year, and also elite offensive players that year as well. How the fuck can you sit there and say that a Dallas Mavericks team, who Jason Kidd was out of his prime, Jason Terry was also a defensive liability, and Dirk wasn't protecting the rim? That's the reason why they fucking ran zone. They ran a lot of 2-3 zone that y'all couldn't fucking solve as well, because your man LeBron James choked in his fucking head.
You heard him, right? They run a lot of 2-3 zone. He named players that didn't play defense, but he didn't want to go to Sean Marion. He didn't want to go to Tyson Chandler, Deshaun Stevenson, all the guys that they had that could actually play defense on that team, including Jason Kidd, who still was a solid defender at that time. But he wanted to go to Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry. That's the kind of, now mind you see I'm letting him speak. So that when it's my turn to speak, it's my turn. I'm not gonna cut you off because I want to hear everything you have to say so I can respond to everything you say.
In the 2011 fucking finals and shit like that, right? So how can you even dare to come up here from a logic standpoint, sit there and say that the fucking Heat, who had more top end talent, and also when you sit there and look at the players that they've had, those players was more difficult to scheme against because you had two great players from an offense and defense perspective. That's why Dallas had the run that got your zone, and your man didn't perform to that standard. How can you sit there and say that the Dallas Mavericks better than 2011? That is dumb.
Yeah, because you just lied. You just lied here and said that they had no rim protection when they had one of the best rim protectors in the league at that time in Tyson Chandler.
I never said they didn't have rim protection.
You said that they had Dirk Nowitzki.
Look, you see? He lied. He basically was saying how they were really good defensively. That's why they had to run a zone. That they had to protect the paint. They had to run a zone because they didn't have a rim protector. Like those are lies. They had a rim protector. He asked me why you run a 2 zone is to protect the paint. So why are you running a 2-3 zone if you don't have a rim? Unless you don't have a rim protector. Like that's the point.
That's weird. Yeah, and then they had Tyson Chandler, and he did say that. That's
but he didn't mention
the zone was a high Dirk.
It don't matter what the zone was. They were not running a basic zone, and at the end of the day, I'm addressing what he said. He said that they had Jason Kidd, who was out of his prime. He said they had Jason Terry, who can't defend. He said they had Dirk Nowitzki, who can't defend, so they had to be in the zone, as if the Dallas Mavericks had no defenders at all, and as if they didn't have a rim protector. Because the reason of running a 2-3 zone is to protect the rim. So they had Tyson Chandler. So I said, that's why I said you're lying. You're the one who's not using the right context. You're not talking basketball. You're lying first of all, to tell a lie, you got to cover it in some truth. So you're using basketball terminology but you're using them wrong. That's why you're lying. They had rim protectors. They had perimeter defenders. That's all lies. And then, like I said, he didn't let me finish. Here we go.
Exactly, but they have Tyson Chandler. So they had great rim protection. Yes, he's an all-defensive player. He won the defensive player of the year the next year. Tyson Chandler is a solid defender. And at the end of the day, they had Dirk was an all-defensive player? Yeah, Tyson Chandler was an all-defensive player.
See, look, they're looking for me to say something wrong. I didn't say nothing wrong. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I didn't say nothing wrong. He's waiting for me to say something wrong so they can argue with me about saying something wrong when I'm not saying nothing wrong. Let me get my take on. And mind you, I have to hurry up and get my take on. They always say that I talk fast, but I already know you're not going to give me the long soliloquy time that you gave yourself. So I got to hurry up to address all that you said, and you're not going to let me address it. And definitely they're not going to let me address it either, because once I start saying something they don't agree with, they want to argue.
That's Tyson Chandler.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Tyson Chandler. We're talking about that. They don't want to talk about Tyson Chandler.
Solid team, and they played very well.
Name me the elite.
See, look. There you go. Now, look, Ishmael, this is where it's coming at. He's going to ask about name me the elite creator. Remember, he just asked me a question on why did I say Dallas was a better team. He didn't let me answer it. You guys see that?
Offensive career that they had.
Here you go.
That played alongside Dirk.
Okay, and what? In 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah, the elite players that played alongside him offensively is Dirk Nowitzki. Now, are you talking about this
elite creator?
See, you heard him say elite creator.
Elite creators. Okay. Elite creators that they had on their team was Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Terry.
Jason Terry's not no fucking elite.
Yeah, Jason Terry's not an elite.
See, I didn't even get past Jason Terry. Now it's an argument. So that's how the whole Jason Terry argument started right there. Because he asked me, remember, he wouldn't let me break down their defensive scheme. He wouldn't let me break down how good they play on defense. So now he's like, they switch the topic. That's what they do best. So how are you cooking me when you're never letting me address anything? You see what I'm trying to say? It's crazy.
I actually agree with you there.
Jason Terry is an elite creator. If you go look at it again, if you go look at what Jason Terry does. Again,
Hold on.
See,
look. How many players?
You can't ask me a question and then off of a vague term. This is a vague term, brother. You can't tell me what a great creator means. So you can't tell me it's not one. Who the fuck are you to say what a great creator is? Who is you? Nobody, bro.
The term was elite.
You want to ask me my opinion and get mad at my opinion. Why don't you ask me some facts? The facts are they were a better team. They had a deeper roster. You don't want to go there.
So this is where you guys see me get to my mo, because you're being disrespectful. We're not having a discourse. You couldn't do this in person with anybody, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot be in person and have a conversation with somebody and be cutting them off and talking about them and like you wouldn't do this in person. So this is you being tough on the internet. That's why I would tell these niggas, say I act tough. I don't need to act tough on the internet because this is how you act on the internet. You wouldn't act this way in person. And if somebody disrespected me the way they're disrespecting me online, I would disrespect them in face. That's why I am who I am in real life. And I don't fear none of you niggas. Because if you ever sat here and talked to me this way as a man, we are going to fight. We're going to get into a beef. I don't let anybody just talk to me any kind of way. And I don't talk to anybody in any kind of way. I'm a very respectful individual. And I will definitely respect you either on the internet or in real life. But these niggas get on the internet and get real reckless. Because they don't, exactly, you ask me my opinion just to chastise my opinion. That's disrespectful. I would never go into the street and ask somebody's opinion. Just say, oh man, that's stupid as fuck. You're a fucking idiot. Like, what do you think that person's going to respond to? That's the point. So if we want to hold a conversation, you got to be able to take the other person's takes and talk about what they're talking about. He can't do that. He wants to dictate the narrative. It's completely got cooked here. So now he's going to be mad because I said, Jason, we already went through this. Jason Terry is an elite creator. He asked for elite creator, not shot creator, not scorer. He said, what is an elite creator? Jason Terry can create his own shot and create shot for other teammates at an elite level. He can do that. In 2011, he was doing that. That's the point. And that's the type of conversation they be wanting to have. Do y'all want to say anything before we continue? Y'all want to address it?
Was Kevin Johnson an elite creator?
Was Kevin Johnson an elite creator?
Yes, Kevin Maurice Johnson.
Matter of fact, the fact that you wait. Now that you said, I'm sorry.
One boy talk. Yeah, he always going back to the 90s. Man. Like seriously,
I brought up a '90s head, but when y'all want to shit on him, it's all good. I just asked one simple question. Hold on, go around the corner, go around the panel, yes or no? Because then we switch.
We're not. You're not, bro. Stop asking people on my show questions. You ask me. I'm going to answer the question because that's what the whole point of today's show is about. Me and Mookie's conversation. As an elite creator, yes, Kevin Johnson could create shots off the dribble. Kevin Johnson could attack the basket, go downhill. He can definitely finish at the rim. He can create his own shot. Not to mention, he can pass the basketball, create shots for other teammates. So he is an elite creator, especially in the 90s. Yes.
Fist bump, good sir. Thank you. That's all I wanted. All right. Okay. Carry on.
Okay. So anybody else got something to say real quick?
Yeah, now the same thing. Now it's bugging me out because people still so harped on LeBron losing in 2011. He's asking you, well, why this, that, and third? LeBron didn't do this against us. Dallas didn't have this, that. Where is the same energy for the defending back-to-back champs that got swept? Why nobody?
No. Leave that. One boy, leave that. One boy. We were not allowed to use anybody else, so we can't go to that. We're gonna stick to what Mookie was trying to do. It was all about LeBron because he's the biggest LeBron fan of LeBron fans. He's the biggest LeBron sexual out there. He had. We cannot talk about Kobe. So let's move on a little bit forward. Let's move forward into the conversation. Let's see where we're at right now. Hold on.
Terry can't create. You
Hold
sit there and say he's a elite creator. So if he's a elite creator, if he's a elite creator, what actions did Dallas ran to get Jason Terry going?
Okay, if you were smart and if you knew basketball, you would understand that he was used as their closer. That's why he won 6 man.
See, look, you see how he cut me off? I was just about to explain how he was used as a closer and how they use him in pick and roll situations, how they use him in isolation situations, how they use him in different pin down screens and staggered screens to get him open in many different situations so that he can create his own shot. He's capable of attacking the back. I was going to say all of this. He never let me get a chance to say why. He never let me get a chance to tell him why I said Jason Terry was in the league. He never did. He starts to cut me off.
That's my ass. I asked you.
I'm about to break it down. Time out for Mookie again because he won't let me get 5 fucking seconds in.
Oh, that was another big thing. He kept saying timeout. And I was like, damn, nigga, what you, Jeff Van Gundy? Nigga, how many timeouts you need? Nigga, like, what the fuck? Like, how come you keep calling a timeout when I speak? Like, what the fuck? Like, when am I going to get a chance to talk? Like, when am I going to get a chance to break down my take? Nigga, like, how are you going to invite me onto your show and don't give me a chance to talk? Doesn't make no sense.
God damn it, brother.
Okay, so tell me the fucking place.
Okay, Jason Terry, right, is used as the end, as one of those closers, as one of those perimeter players who can create a shot. Who can shoot the perimeter shot very well. He doesn't need somebody to get him the ball in a certain area. He can create his own shot.
He's lying. Bro, this nigga is lying, don't know shit about basketball.
See, look.
Jason Terry was a guy that fucking,
heard him.
They designed action. He was not self-creating at an elite level in fucking 2011, bro. They were using double drag. They were running players. They free Terry off the ball, bro. His handle was solid in the elite. He was not the defenders down in fucking ISO, bro. He wasn't.
That's not in an elite level. You can check.
See, you heard him say all of that. And what did the film show that we showed today, ladies and gentlemen? What did the film show? Did everything that he just said that Jason Terry can't do at elite level, didn't we just show Jason Terry do it at an elite level against elite defenders?
Yep. ISO, off the pick, runners, mid-range, long ball. Like the stats is in the footage. We watching this shit and they still denying it. It's in the footage.
It's all here for him, but he's still going to deny it.
Career.
And he's still going to deny it.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Dudes
He's still
don't
going to
watch
deny
basketball.
Again, this is what they do. They don't watch basketball. They're just lies. That's what I'm saying. So mind you, he didn't let me do none of that. He didn't let me do none of that. He didn't let me explain none of that because he just wants to scream and yell and give nobody a chance to speak. So let's go forward.
You just lying.
That's what. So now they're saying that's where I'm lying. So when you hear them say all I was doing was lying, he's saying that I was lying by calling Jason Terry an elite creator. So you asked me my opinion just to call me a liar. It's my opinion. You don't have no facts to prove that he's not an elite creator. You want to say he's not an elite creator because he's not scoring. You didn't ask for an elite scorer. You asked for an elite creator.
You asked about an ISO player, nigga. Because you don't have to be an ISO player to be a creator.
Exactly. That's the only way to be a creator.
You know what an elite player is? Elite player is somebody that can bend the defense. Elite player is somebody.
He said they can't. He basically he can't bend the defense. Like literally, Jason Terry was a player nobody worried about on basketball defensively. They just said don't worry about Jason Terry at all. Like these niggas don't know basketball.
I'm kind of.
Go ahead.
I know I can't use this word, but it's like it's the R word for it's really they sound like the R word, you know. It's just it's so dumb, you know. They set up they ask you about terms that they haven't defined, and yet they get mad at your answer for it, but then don't even explain it. It's one of the dumbest things I've been listening to the whole time, bro. It's like, oh, you don't know what you don't know what a creator is? It's not this, it's that. I'm gonna get mad at you for giving an answer, and then not even allow you to explain what you mean by it. But it's like I said, setting up terms for stuff that's not even defined. Like nobody, most people don't talk about stuff like this, but they have stuff that's defined by them, and they're gonna make you seem like
Ishmael. LeBron used that exact same term a week ago, and when Ajani did his breakdown, he addressed that. So when LeBron used the term, there was no confusion or ambiguity, but all of a sudden it's this ambiguous term with a creator. It's like, come on.
What terminology?
Peter. There was no confusion. He created the confusion because he didn't define it. I went to determine what a normal creator was the same way LeBron went through. A creator, what they said, the Luka Doncic type guys who create plays, guys who you give the ball in isolation situations. That's Jason Terry. Like
and
that's not like that's not.
And he does that at an elite level.
At an elite level, yes. As creating his own shots and creating shots for others, yes. At an elite level, it's definitely in 2011 he was doing at an elite level, yes, sir.
Yeah, I strenuously disagree, but go ahead.
That's how it should be, right? You disagree with Ajani, but these guys get mad about stuff and try to define what they mean for certain things in particular. It just makes them look like a bunch of R
Somebody
words, and
got
they just
background.
get all bumped up.
That's Ishmael. That's Ishmael.
I
Are you
don't
moving,
know.
Ishmael? Are you
No, I'm
moving?
not. I don't know. I gotta check my
It sounds like
settings.
you got
I'll
wind.
come back in. I don't
So
know.
Yeah,
you right quick.
it's like you got wind moving. No, again, the elite creators in the game. The elite creators in the game. You also got some background too, Peter Backjuice. The elite creators in the game are guys who can create their own shot in a multitude of ways. Jason Terry can do that. You guys equate because he comes off the bench that he's not an elite player. That's not what he asked. He asked if he's an elite creator. That means can you call up sets and plays to let Jason Terry create a shot for you? Yes, you can on an elite level. He did it for years in Dallas. They were one of the best teams throughout the 2000s, predicated on what he was doing in the fourth quarter, which is why I was saying that he's a closer. That's elite. When else do you want somebody to be able to create for you more than the fourth quarter? They gave him the ball in those positions.
And he's
Even in
he's from the same mold as, that's why I keep saying he's from the same mold as Ginobili, Jamal Crawford,
exactly.
Lewis Williams. They get buckets.
Hold on, wait. Let me ask you this. Ro and Peter Backjuice, big time 90s guys. Are you still here, Peter? Is Vinny Microwave Johnson an elite creator? Yes or no?
I go yeah. I go yeah.
No.
That's on my eye test alone. I don't know the numbers, but that's why they call him the microwave. Because
Yeah,
you
because
can,
he came. Yeah, exactly.
That's why you can go bring him off the bench and just get offense. No, I'm with you, Ajani. I actually, and that's the thing. In his role, that's what he did.
All right, let me ask you this. Ro. Oh wait, let me ask you this. I'm gonna let you go, Peter. Give me a second. You said no. Peter, Ro, is Microwave Vinny Johnson an elite scorer?
No. There's a reason why he's coming off the bench. See, that's.
All right, go ahead, Peter. We listening, brother. You got some bad feet in the background, Peter. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm in my car with everything closed, so I don't know what's going on. But what I was gonna say, Vinny was neither an elite scorer or an elite playmaker. And from my perch, that's what I understand a creator to be. Somebody who can either create shots for themselves or for others at a high level. That wasn't Vinny, and it certainly wasn't Jason Terry. But what do I know?
See,
that is weird, bro.
It reminds me when I picked Jamal Crawford as my sixth man for Jack GBT against Lamont. And I couldn't believe they didn't give Jamal Crawford a little bit more props than 13 a game.
They're going to say Jamal Crawford's an elite. Again, the question wasn't elite scorer. He didn't ask that.
Creator.
If he would have said that, I would have never mentioned Jason Terry. Nobody else on Dallas was an elite scorer but Dirk Nowitzki. He was the only elite scorer on that team. The Heat had two of them. That's what he should have said. That's where he wanted to go. But if he says that and I say the right thing, he has nothing to argue then. Then that's the case. And he knows that by saying having two elite scorers compared to one is not automatically meaning you're going to win a series. He knows that. So he has to go to elite creator because then that goes to the player's skill set, not his production.
I get your point. I get your point. You cooked there. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, we disagree, but I believe you cooked.
Right? Because your skill set as a Karl Malone, it doesn't make you an elite creator to the level of a Kevin Durant, but Karl Malone's still an elite scorer. Puts the ball in the bucket. Doesn't matter how he does, the ball goes in the production. His production shows you that he's an elite scorer. But when we go to skill set and we want to talk about how elite is Karl Malone as a skill set, how does Karl Malone score? On pick and roll, pop and shoots, right? Putting the ball to the floor and close to the rim and finishing close to the rim, right? Catching close to the He doesn't have too many elite creating moves. He can't do too much. He can't do too much, right? So
he had a nice little scoop post up game, yeah.
So he's good. He's a good creator because he can get this, but he's not an elite creator. You're talking about somebody like a Bernard King. That's an elite creator.
When Bernard King breaks down how he said he had a grid on the floor and there was 9 spots on the floor, and every spot he knew exactly what shot he could take and not take, and we knew what counter you had and what to counter you and what you can do. That's being an elite creator. His production says he's a scorer. Exactly. Benny Johnson is an elite creator. Benny Johnson get his shot off, get other people. That's why he was on the floor. His job was to create. That's what he was good at. He was elite at that. But y'all, that's
So
what
when
y'all not having a real conversation. Go ahead, Pete. I'm listening.
from my understanding, when I hear the word creator, I kind of analogize that to playmaker. And, scoring would be in that same realm too, in terms of creating for yourself. So do y'all agree with that? When they say creator, we're talking about the ability to play make and also to score?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Jason
playmakers create.
Terry can make plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Manu
It's
Ginobili made plays.
not. But it's not just score. It's about getting your shot off. It's about getting your shot off in general, because you're going to get your shot off. These are NBA players. They're efficient. If you let them get their shot off, they're going to get their. That's the whole point. Is how you can get your shot off. The best guys did. What he really wanted to say
is my background good?
Now you're good.
Yeah,
You're
much
perfect.
better.
Now what he's trying to say and what he wanted to say, Peter, is that who's really a first option. That's what y'all trying to say. When you're thinking of creator, you're thinking this is my first option player. And you guys don't think Jason Terry is a first option player on any roster. So he can never be a creator. But that's why they're misusing terms and they're using it incorrectly. And that's how they try to debate. And that's why they get cooked and exposed by me, because I know the game. I specifically asked them, I said, you're saying creator? Okay, you just made it easier for me. Because now, like you said, I can add playmaking. I can add the passing aspect of it, which Jason Terry has. You can't tell me Jason Terry can't make passes. He can't set up his teammates. So he not only is he elite at getting his own shot, he's able to get his teammates shot. So he's an elite creator.
He's
by the terms that he
mediocre.
laid out to me.
No,
I need your badges. You get agreed. But here's here's why I agree, because this is the reason. Yeah.
If you're talking about creating, if you're talking about creating shots for others or passing the ball, Jason Terry is below average. Like, come on, guys.
No,
let me counter there. Let me counter there, because I'm gonna say this. Guys like Jason Terry, Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, back till you go back, even John Starks played a role. Ricky Pierce and Vinny Microwave Johnson. These are the reason why the sixth man became a position. Like this is why it became a thing, because I see where Ajani is going, because Jason Terry was a guy that at the point in the game when you need buckets, you're bringing him into that unit to add to the team offensively. And that's what a Jason Terry provided. Now I get that's the thing. Sometimes y'all gotta look at the fact that those guys are not starters, and then therefore they're never gonna lead the league in scoring or anything like that. And then you're gonna say, well, he's not an elite creator because you're comparing him to the stars of the league. But when you're talking about an actual in that role,
that's what elite means, guys. Like you guys need to invest in a dictionary. Like, look up the word elite. It means the cream of the crop. That's literally what the word means.
That's not
you know what then?
That's not how he was asking.
Oh wait, let me ask you a question. All right, let me ask you this, Peter. Where would you place Jason Terry as a creator in 2011 of all players, 400 players? Where is he?
He's above average.
Where though? What's above average? 100, top 100, top 50? What's that? What would be? If he's in the top 40, he's in the top 10%. He's in the top 10%.
He wouldn't. He's not at an all-star level. So what's that? How many? That's at 30. So he's outside.
Wait.
30.
Oh wait. See, this is why you got. Oh wait. An all-star level player could be a non-creator. That doesn't.
No. I don't mean an all-star level player. I'm saying he's not an all-star level creator.
No, again, there is no all-star level creator. There's no such thing as an all-star level creator. You can be an all-star without being a creator of any kind. So there's no such thing as that.
So let me rephrase then. Allow me to rephrase then. He's outside the top 30.
So he's outside the top 30. So for you to be considered elite, you have to be in the 92 percentile, 93 percentile.
Yes.
So if you're in the 90 percentile, if you're in the 85 percentile, that's not elite. There's There's only 30, 40 players better than you in this particular thing out of 400 players. You're in the top 10 percentile. That's not elite.
I'm trying to figure out how many was 29 dudes in the NBA in 2011 better than Jason Terry. Let's start with that.
There's no numbers to do it. They're doing it all off their eye test. There's no numbers. The same numbers that he brought up to try to say that Jason Terry wasn't good says Ben Chero's not good. Says Zion Williamson
Anthony Davis.
is not a good Anthony Davis. Matter of fact, the same numbers that they brought up, Peter, to say that Jason Terry is not an elite creator, it says Anthony Davis is not an elite creator.
So, from my understanding, I'm trying to say, so
Because
is
Anthony
elite
Davis is
creator because
Anthony Davis is not an elite creator, like duh.
So, okay, or Peter, let me ask. So LeBron said,
No, go ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead, Ishmael.
I'm just trying to understand if it is anybody to depend on. So LeBron said that an elite creator is somebody that basically can play iso ball when they have the ball in their hands and they create their own shot. It's not somebody that can move without the ball either.
No, LeBron didn't say elite creators. They said you're creators. They said you're creators.
Yeah, he's my bad.
He just said you're creators. He didn't say they didn't use elite. They just
So
said that
Peter, man, like you gotta be okay, man. You gotta be a little proficient here, bro. Like when
they're not. They can't. They gotta be made on purpose.
That's bullshit, bro. You gotta when you quoting somebody, you gotta be a little more proficient at this. Like, come on, man.
Ishmael, they do it on purpose. Ishmael, they tiptoe on purpose. Just why nobody wants to say the Knicks could win the NBA Finals, so that they can say that. So they can say that I didn't sound wrong. They never want to actually step out on a ledge and stand on anything. They never want to do that. They want to tiptoe. They want to leave it open so that they can escape just in case they get caught. Especially with me, because they don't know what I know or don't know. Because when they
like I said earlier, they going around like a bunch of R words on something that they haven't even defined themselves. They're just like, bro, like this is silly as hell, bro.
Let's move forward because now they're gonna bring the points per possession nonsense. And here we go. This is the point per possession stuff.
Creating a shot. He's good off the cut. He's good off the cut.
So he said, you remember the ball handling and the isolation, right? Y'all see it here, right? See, look, Kyle Korver. See, they brought up Kyle Korver because they believe Jason Terry and Kyle Korver score in the same manner, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they believe. They believe Jason Terry only scores off of like off of screens, like Reggie Miller. They think that's the only way. Catch and shoot. That's a spot up shooter. That's what they think. He scores off. That's why. Now, mind you, you see how good he is at cutting, right? This is the same guy during the same entire life kept telling me why LeBron didn't cut, didn't do this, didn't do that in all these different playoff series. Meaning, in his mind, a player cuts on his own volition. So that means creating on your own volition. So if he considers LeBron James cutting as it helps create shots for his team, why is he not doing the same thing for Jason Terry, who's obviously elite at it? He's 80 percentile. That's elite. If you're in the 80 percentile, that's elite. You're an elite at doing this. But they want to stick to handling the ball on pick and roll, right? A pick and roll handler and isolation. I already showed you guys the players that do isolation and pick and roll handling and how there are many players who go at 0.81 or 0.83 in these numbers would say that they are not elite creators. We're talking about Darius Garland. We're talking about Tyrese Maxey. I brought up all these players by their metrics. Metrics.
Dudes that score the same way that Jason Terry.
This is why I want see all scoring,
dribbling, getting to.
All right, let me show you. Let me show y'all the graph so that y'all can see it. Here is the graph. Oh wait, I did delete the graph. Let me bring the graph back up here for a second. Let me bring this graph back up so that y'all can see exactly what they were doing and what they were talking about. Again, they don't know the game of basketball, right? So here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna come up here. Give me a second. Here we go. So again, we're talking about the same things before. Remember I told y'all that, right? We're talking about cutting, isolation, off screen, pick and roll handler, spot up shooter, and transition. This is Jason Terry's numbers in the playoffs. This was them saying Jason Terry was not in the league. This is the numbers that they were using. Mind you, they didn't let me explain why I said Jason Terry. I wasn't using numbers. They brought up the numbers, and when I brought up the numbers and debunked them, they started to get real zesty, and then this is where they get real personal, like I told you, Peter, where they try to make it seem like I owe them money off a bet that I didn't make.
And King Roll.
What you don't know who Al Borger is?
Yeah, he's not on Jason Terry's level.
Is he an elite creator? Yes or no?
Not on Jason Terry level, no.
Exactly, no.
I'm sandwiched between the two generations.
No,
To
like
give caregiver
he legitimately tried to make it that way. No,
Is he an elite creator?
No.
exactly. It's not.
Why not?
Because he doesn't do the things to be an elite creator.
Exactly.
Terry is the worst.
See, look, they won't let me finish.
He's only a spot shooter. He's not somebody that puts the ball on the floor like Jason Terry.
Jason Terry isn't good at that. Look at the stats
What are you talking about? What are you showing me here has nothing to do with
That's how efficient you are in those play types, though.
again. That's not how that's showing you his points.
Yes, it is. Look at that.
No,
The
again,
efficiency
that's
right
showing
there
you
is below league average.
wait. That is showing you points per possession. Can you show me? Wait. Can you show me if as a handler, if points?
It's not a handler, brother.
Okay, again, answer my question. Can you show me that 8.1 means that it's
I
bad?
can't read for you, dog.
Okay, here we go.
My question. Show me where.
Oh, this is perfect. All right, so right now I'm asking them, show me where as ball handlers, guys that are just ball handlers, where do they sit at in this situation? This is the entire league. This is him in a percentile with everybody. This is not just separating just ball handlers and showing me how all the ball handlers with a certain percent, a certain volume, where they fit at with Jason Terry. He's not doing that. This is very like Lamont said. This is very. Y'all say y'all love context. There's no context to these stats. These are just vague numbers that he's throwing up out there, and they're not real numbers. So he's going to bring up these numbers, and I'm going to – and mind you, this is all scoring. It says on the top, if you guys clearly see, it says scoring only. And Peter, am I right? You did say playmaking is a part of it, correct?
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
Okay, so if playmaking is a part of it, right, why are they using a stat that doesn't include the playmaking part?
I don't know why he let you take him into the weeds. I mean, I know the point that he was driving at, but what you're good at is you'll hone in on something completely irrelevant and just, magnify it, and you'll get the opponent to hone in on it with you. So you definitely got it.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was them doing that. I didn't do it at all. Here we go. Let's keep going.
Exactly. I said 0.81.
Okay, look, he said, look, this is a scheme design thing. That's what he's saying.
Right, so he's average there.
No, he's below average.
Oh, wait, he's average there, right?
He's below average. No, he's below
right, so
average.
let's keep, hold on, let me move forward.
Terry was below average. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He's below. He's not a below average player.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
We're
not.
talking about creation.
You're not talking about creation.
You're bringing up points per possession.
Yes, how efficient you are.
See, look, now let me finish.
How efficient you are. That is your.
Yes, it is.
No, that's not.
And again, that is not how efficient you are. That just shows how many points you score per possession. So if you want to say it's anything inefficient number-wise, it's inefficient on how you score. We're not talking about scoring. You asked about elite creating, shot creation, if anything. You didn't say scorer. If you wanted to talk about elite scorer, this conversation is completely not even necessary. But they can't do that because they don't know how to talk basketball. So this is something they've already talked about. They've already discussed this idea that Jason Terry's not a shot creator, or he's not a great creator. That's why they have all these numbers already available. So that's why they're comfortable talking in this, Peter. So I wasn't the one that kept them in this. They wanted to stay in this conversation because this is where they have information for me that they think they can debunk me with. And when I start breaking down the information, like you said, and showing them how this doesn't really explain what you guys were talking about, they then begin to go into the, like I said, the Zesty Jeffrey role, where now it's about me. Watch what he tries to do here.
Yes, it is.
If you're going to let me speak, if you're going to let me speak, again, you asked me who is a elite creator. I don't go off.
You literally just sat there and said this.
See, look, cut me off again.
Please. That means you elite creator. Just because they're designed acting,
they do not.
See, look, they let me finish. So how are you going to tell me what I said and not let me say it? That's the weirdest shit I get. And like I said, that's disrespect. You imagine, Peter, you're in a conversation with someone. Every time it's your turn to speak, this individual cuts you off. I mean, every time you go to speak,
they don't want to be wrong. It's because they don't want to be wrong or anything.
Exactly.
They don't want
Exactly.
new upcoming information. They just, just talk over you and everything. It's
No,
kind of embarrassing, to be honest.
What it is,
he asked for
Ishmael,
it. He
is
asked for it.
sometimes
He
like
asked for it though.
And Ishmael, to prove your point,
what I think what
Yeah, Peter,
happens
Peter,
is
please change my mind, Peter, from what I'm seeing. Tell me what it is.
no. I think what happens is if you're not experiencing debating, gaslighting tactics can fluster
Oh
you,
my
right?
God, you talking about
So
Ajani right now?
no, I'm saying
Yeah,
in
no,
general.
let him go. Let
In
him go.
general.
Let him go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying in general because I've had these discussions for years now regarding specifically LeBron James. So I've
You
heard.
breaking in and out.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Yeah,
I
we can
bring up
go
the
ahead. Go ahead.
2008 Eastern Conference semifinals as being probably LeBron's worst individual performance in a playoff series, Ajani's not the first LeBron fan that gave me a strong rebuke or rebuff of that. Was like, no, it wasn't, and blah 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 blah. So what you got to do is you got to stay in the pocket when you talk to people like Ajani. So if you say Game 1, 2 of 18, 10 turnovers was horrible, and he's like, no, that's not that bad. You can't get mad at that, no matter how ridiculous that sounds. And that's what happened to Buddy. He got triggered by Ajani's ridiculousness.
I didn't say anything
I'm just
ridiculous.
here, bro.
I'm confused here.
I didn't
Okay.
say nothing ridiculous. And don't ask me for my opinion if you're not gonna like the answer to the
That's
question. That's the whole point. So
the point. The point is
let's
like,
keep going because I want to get to the point to where they try to make me think.
All right.
But he wasn't efficient at that.
Go ahead, Ishmael. I'm listening.
I was just saying that like
Go ahead,
Ajani
Ishmael.
is entitled to it, and Ajani is entitled to his opinions on these things, and they're not really allowing him to like explain more in detail, and they're just they have terminologies they believe in that they talk about, and it's kind of weird that they just getting all bent out of shape over it. They're not really allowing him to say anything. So no matter how ridiculous it is, I mean, it's not to say that it's not to say it can't be factual that Jason Terry isn't an elite creator, right? Or you can't say like, I mean, depends on what, you know what I mean?
The Jason
And then
Terry, my bad.
and then you can't say like, talk about the Dallas Mavericks played a 2-3 zone, but then the actual fact is that the team owner said something different, what they actually did, and then say that the Dallas Mavericks didn't have rim protection, but then they got Tyson Chandler. So it's like then you don't allow Jay Johnny to really explain full detail of a lot of things. So they're not really letting him talk to even say anything in the first place. So I don't know.
Yeah, because they're getting triggered. Like if I were to say to a Ewing fan, right? And I'm a Jamaican. I love Ewing, right? That was my
But
guy.
how are they gonna let him trigger? And they're not letting
No,
him
listen,
finish though.
listen what I'm saying. If I were to say to someone, Patrick Ewing was objectively horrific in the 1994 finals, and that person were to look at me and say, "Hey, that's not that bad," I might be liable to go crazy because I know you're playing with me, like you know what I'm saying? Like you're trolling me. Patrick Ewing was horrible in the 1994 finals.
But
There's
nobody
no,
who disputes that though.
but y'all are disputing. But
I thought that was
dispute. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all dispute.
Who disputes that for you to even
Nobody does because Patrick doesn't have a maniacal fan base like LeBron.
Peter, I know where you get. I know where you're getting at because it's like it's indisputable.
Man,
What you're saying.
Peter,
What you're saying is that
good
it's
job,
indisputable, right?
It's
So
indisputable.
here's the thing. It's like I get it
I
with
gotta get
all
one other
this.
mind. I got a feedback. Go ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead.
Okay, all these stories, you all this stuff, like, bro, I get it, bro. You're saying that Jay Johnny is saying that things that are just irrefutable. Johnny is just throwing his opinion, saying that no, but like he's offering differences of viewpoints and perspectives based on his eye test, based on how he see the game, to something that is irrefutable. Well, that's not true, man. It's not irrefutable. Like technically, it's not. What's irrefutable is LeBron James has 50,000 career points. That's irrefutable. You cannot refute that. What is refutable in a way is possibly say that no matter how silly you can see it, because I disagree with Ajani, but if Ajani believes LeBron James did his job in 2011 and he didn't cause his team to lose, and it wasn't his worst series ever, that he can say that. And if you want to say, if you're going to say that just because of the numbers, then I could say that for Michael Jordan too in the 1980s. And then he's entitled to that. It's not something you have to say. All you can
Yeah,
say at the end of the day
but
is,
Ishmael, I'm of the
hold on, bro.
opinion.
I'll let you finish,
My
bro.
bad.
I'm gonna let you finish, brother. All you can say is like, I disagree with you, and then you just keep on moving it from there and move the conversation. If you get triggered, that's just your emotions. That's just you not able to control yourself during
Being
the
a
topic,
zesty
bro.
Jeffrey. That's you
It's
being a
not that
zesty
big of a
Jeffrey.
deal. It's not that big of a deal. The conversation should just be healthy, and you just laugh it off and say, bro, you silly. But all right, bro, I love you. That's it. That's the end of it. I'm done with this conversation. I'm just gonna move on. You can't
Yeah,
get
I
bent out
agree.
of the shape of it, bro. So
I agree,
that's
Ishmael, and
all they
that's
had
why
to do here, bro.
and that's why I said, all right, let me give you another example. I
Oh,
frequently
here you
like
go, bro. I get all your examples, bro. You
no,
don't
no,
have to
let me
keep.
talk. I'll let you talk, Ishmael.
Let him go.
You,
Let him
Okay,
go.
let
Let
all
him
me
right,
go.
talk.
Let him go. Let
all
him
right,
go.
all right,
Yeah,
all right.
it's just
Go ahead.
like when we talk about it's just like when we talk about Egypt, like non-black people in academia, they'll swear to you, oh, they weren't black because see, they spoke this language and it's E1B1A and
Oh,
blah, blah.
here we
They'll
go.
give you a bunch of bullshit. And we know they're
Yeah.
gaslighting. So what I'm telling you is I personally, this is an opinion. I can't go in Ajani's head. So this is my opinion. This is this disclaimer here. I don't for 1 second believe that Ajani is being sincere when he says that LeBron James was not LeBron
Okay.
James was not objectively poor in the 2011 finals. I don't believe him. He's
Okay.
gaslighting. That's my opinion.
That's what you think. Okay.
And that's you guys' problem. You guys don't listen. You don't care to listen. If you already believe that, why do you even need me to tell you anything? Obviously, it doesn't matter what I say. You already believe whatever you want to believe, which is a part of what you're saying, which is why they are the way they are. Because how dare I? Who am I, the LeBron sexual, especially the king of LeBron sexuals, come out here and speak logical about basketball, not have this idea that players don't choke. Like, you guys are mad at me because I don't believe players choke. I don't believe Michael Jordan choked in 1988. But this is the conversation you guys want to have. I'm going to show you how Michael Jordan choked, predicated off of the shit that you guys do. I never sat here and said the Miami Heat failed or choked in 2011 when I was there witnessing it in 2011. Never. I didn't do that. It didn't exist. Nobody was talking about that. It wasn't until LeBron James won in 2012 that now all of a sudden LeBron James 2011 and 27 was a problem. Because at that time, everybody kept thinking LeBron James was never going to win. He doesn't have it in him. So at the end of the day, there was nobody sitting around here talking about choking. I don't consider players choking. A team wins, a team loses. I always told you guys this. LeBron James outperforms himself more than likely in almost every playoff series. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Just because they had a couple of series that they didn't do what they normally do or didn't meet your expectation doesn't mean they played bad. There's another team on the basketball court. This is what you guys do, and you guys take words out of context. When LeBron said that there's 8 other guys, when he was talking about the losing to the Timberwolves, he wasn't talking about his 8 teammates. He was talking about the 5 Timberwolves, how they affect the game, how they have an aspect of what happens on the basketball court that you yourself can't determine or dictate. Because there's 5 other guys over there. There's 4 other guys with me. There's so many aspects of the game that revolves around winning and losing. It's not all on me. And it took him 20 years to finally realize it because y'all been putting pressure on this man since he was 19 years old to tell him since he was 19, everything was on you, LeBron. To the point to where LeBron's the
Poor guy.
GM, LeBron's the coach,
Why are
LeBron's the
you
GM, LeBron's the owner, LeBron's everything. He's
why
clutch
you
sports.
always
He's
play the
everything.
defensive role though?
Because
hold
we're being attacked. I'm being
No, you're
attacked.
not.
Because I
Yes,
can't
No,
talk
you're not.
basketball
this is a
without
perfect
you guys. Wait,
example.
No,
I
you're
can't.
not,
Wait,
bro.
no. Wait, I got this. I can't
Y'all
say
don't be
Jason
attacked.
Terry is. I can't say Jason Terry's an elite
He's not though.
creator because I'm a LeBron fan. I can't say Anthony Davis is a horrible defensive anchor because I'm a LeBron fan.
He's actually not though. If you
I
just
can't
talking
say.
basketball.
I wait. But it's true. I got. Again, it's one thing to say something, but then not have nothing to back it up with. Everything I say, I back it up with stats, accolades, and film. not lies. Everything that Mookie brought up here, all those things that he claims that they were running, he's not going to bring us film and show us that. He's not going to bring us no film of them running a basic 2-3 zone. He's not going to do that.
Hey, Johnny.
Those are fake.
That's just like I could go. I don't want to cut you off.
No. Let's let Herm go first because Herm wanted to go. Go ahead, Herm.
But what if he does show you a clip where there's one player not, which he could actually show you one play that they was in the 2-3 zone. How can you refute what he say there since you bringing that type of aspect to the situation? Because he could show you a play on the defensive end that they played the 2-3 zone. He could show you that.
He could show me them playing a 2-3 zone. He could show me them playing another type of zone. Again, he could show me them playing another. Again, he could show me them playing another type of zone. He said that they couldn't figure out a basic 2-3 zone from Miami. He's not going to show. Again, there is no evidence that shows that the Miami did not break down that Dallas team versus the zone. That's the point. If we go look at
if he could give you a clip of that, which he actually could, Johnny, that means what you saying about your opinion, he'll have a valid opinion about what he feels. Like I said,
again, he's false.
You based on fact, but how is false if he was the
because when I showed the film of Jason Terry using it, when I showed him film of Jason using doing everything he said Jason Terry couldn't do, he wouldn't accept that. So that's what I'm saying. I never said they never played zone. I never said they played zone. I said they played an intricate zone. So even if they're in a 2-3 zone, they're not in a basic 2-3 zone. They're going to be in an intricate 2-3 zone. They even admitted to it. They're going to show you Tyson Chandler not sitting in the paint. Tyson Chandler stepping out of the paint because he can't really be in the paint for 3 seconds. So he has to come out some way.
You don't get what I'm saying,
bro.
I do get what you're saying, Herm. He can't find those because they were not doing it. They were playing better defense.
Hey, Johnny, let me say something right quick, Herm, if I can.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I had cut off one boy. My bad. I had cut off one boy. Go ahead, one boy.
Now, Pete just spoke about how guys, you trigger guys. You triggered the guy that said Dallas had no rim protection, and when you spoke up Tyson Chandler, that's what he got triggered to. That logically makes no sense. So being that these guys are triggered to something that he spoke that's a natural fact, why get mad? Why just not take the L?
And I took an L yesterday.
You done one, boy?
Yeah. Hold on, wait. Before you go, Peter, I took an L yesterday. I mistakenly thought Jason Terry took more shots than LeBron James in 2011.
And
I know
you
LeBron
said,
James.
my bad.
And I did say that. And I told him I didn't say it. I didn't say again. And that's because they wouldn't even let me explain how LeBron James didn't score one more point than fucking Jason Terry in the finals. Right? They didn't even let me explain it to him. But at the end of the day, I admit that was the one time that I was wrong. After that, I was on point the whole show. That they were wrong the entire show. The entire show. It got so bad that the guy tried to make me bet him for $1,000, which he knew it was never going to come. Because who the fuck makes $1,000 bet with a stranger online that they just met that they don't even know how to collect the money from, just so that they can make fun of my character, so they can call me a broke nigga, to call me a nigga who don't have the money, a nigga who don't have integrity to pay a debt. This is how they want to try to win a debate, is to argue about who I am.
That's what house for house. That's the type
I'm gonna let you go real quick, Peter. That's what fucked up Mike Peake. When Mike Peake went viral, right? He went viral because he was behind the camera. All you heard was a voice and saw film. You didn't know who was doing it, who was doing what. What messed him up was he ended up going viral, right, by someone else's account. So he felt he had to step in front of the camera. Once he stepped in front of the camera, people found out who he was, and no longer was his content ever considered good anymore. Because now people started to talk about because now all the Zesty Jeffries that he went to go talk to pointed and figured out who he was and poked fun about him. So now he's a LeBron sexual, a failed high school player. It has all the stuff, all the film, even though this man has over 1.5 years worth of footage showing you Michael Jordan can't go left on a consistent basis and in an effective or elite level, they still say it doesn't matter. He's still doing it to this day. But because they know who he is, Now that they can make fun of him, they can poke fraud and do all this stuff about him and make it personal. So now they can just say whatever he does doesn't matter. So that's how Zesty Jeffrey try to have that conversation. Now, what Peter is saying is correct. They get triggered by me. So what they do is try to trigger me back, but it only backfires on them because I'm anticipating that. I'm ready for it because like I told Peter, I'm for the smoke. Like just like I told Buddy, you're never gonna come get your $1,000 because you a bitch. Even though I never betted him $1,000, so you's a bitch. You will never come to Miami. You will never take a flight. I would give you my address happily if you show up like a man and tell me who you are to come get your $1,000. But you're not gonna do that. All you wanted to do was be online and try to make fun of me because you can't accept that I proved Jason Terry was an elite creator. Now go ahead, Peter.
Hey, look, bro. The first time. I think the first time me and you engaged, it wasn't the first time, but one of the first times, and I figured out your fighting style. You know, that's when I realized like you can't get triggered by this guy. I see what you're doing. You feel me? So like any nigga who could look at me with a straight face and tell me that Robert Parrish was a better scorer than Dwayne Wade because he got more, his career total is more. I just gotta let that nigga have that, man. Like, you got it, bro. Like, how do you fight a nigga like that? You can't do nothing with that.
No, you can't.
Just gotta let it go.
That's what I'm saying. You can't because that's
like,
y'all problem. Y'all want
like,
everybody
look,
to think and believe like how y'all believe, and that's the problem.
That's like a prime Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon level of trolling. Like you can't fuck with that. You just gotta, you know what I'm saying?
And that's not trolling. If Dwayne Wade don't got more points than Robert Parrish, we're not talking about nothing scoring wise. You just score more than Robert Parrish, bro.
You got it, my nigga. You got it, my nigga. 2 + 2 = 5. I'm with it.
And this is the problem. See,
I'm with
like he
it.
said this, and this is why Peter says that I'm triggered because I'm trolling. Because by me saying that, somehow I'm saying Dwayne Wade sucks. That's y'all problem. Y'all can't talk basketball because y'all don't want to give Robert Parrish's props. Just say Robert Parrish is on the scoring level of Dwayne Wade. That's your problem. You can't do that. Instead of saying Robert Parrish is great, that's it.
Mookie, if you're listening to this, just watch how I don't take the bait. That's how you gotta stay in. You gotta stay in the pocket, Mookie. Now, I want to make one real quick point, Ajani, before I go. About the reason. So even the biggest LeBron detractors like myself, right? I would say even the biggest detractors pretty much give him a quote unquote pass for the 2015 finals, even though he shot below 40%, right? His counting stats were great, but he wasn't particularly exceptional. But most of us don't look at that finals and say, man, LeBron shot below 40%. He stunk it up because we knew what the circumstances were. Right. And that's the reason why people judge him so harshly for 2011, because he had a championship level number one next to him performing at an extremely high level. Right. And then you had Chalmers, who was also playing pretty well that series, shooting 40% from 3, 6 attempts. Bosch was pretty bad the first 3 games, but after that, Bosch picked it up. So it's the level of help that he had, right, combined with how he performed is why people always highlight 2011 and not 2015 or 2008 or 2010. So thanks for letting me speak, man. I appreciate you.
No, that's good. That's good. Let's hurry up and get this over because we're gonna be able to watch this. Let me see if I can find this other part where they were talking shit. Let me see it.
Like, no, they're not
2 of the top 3.
Dwayne Wade's not a top 3 player in 2011. Stop it.
Top 5. Who was better? Who was better?
Top
than
5.
Bro?
He was a top 5.
He was definitely top 5 2011, bro.
Again, this is another thing I gotta say. Dwayne Wade is one of the only. He's the only player that is praised because of one finals, bro. If Dwayne Wade would have never joined LeBron James, his legacy would not be what y'all making. If Dwayne Wade would have never won no championship, but that 2006 NBA championship and would have been losing in the first round year after year, all the way to 2017, 2016, y'all would have said this is a player that's been milking one championship his entire career. The fact that he joined LeBron James completely put him in the Stephen Curry category, where we no longer could talk bad about him at any kind of way, because all they're going to mention is what he did in 2006. The same thing with Stephen Curry. As soon as we say anything bad about Stephen Curry, unanimous MVP, the 4 titles, changed the game. You can't say they're in that category where you can't talk bad about them, because we need to make sure that they sit in a pedestal so that they can talk shit about LeBron. That is the craziest part. They try to make Dwayne Wade a top 5 player in 2011. It bugs me every single time. Hey, here we go.
2011, if you want to go to the top 5 players, you obviously got LeBron James, you got Kobe Bryant, you got Dwight Howard, you got Dirk Nowitzki, you got even if you want to take it even as far as what's it called, Chris Paul was also another great player in 2010.
Gosh, bro, Chris Paul did not have a great season in 2011, bro.
Why is LeBron?
Oh, my bad. Derrick Rose,
bro. Hold on.
See, look, they won't let me finish. Look, I can
with Derrick Rose.
Exactly. That's what they see. Look, that's what they do. They ask you your opinion to argue your opinion. We're not arguing facts. We're not arguing anything that's tangible. It's basically who feels a certain way and who can express it better. And since I'm going up against 6 people, they feel they're right.
He got mad because you said Derrick Rose, though.
I know that.
Dwayne Wade was pretty up there, but there were a mixture of players. Kevin Durant, then you got LeBron, you got Kobe, you got Amari Stoudemire. Did I say Carmelo already? Then you got Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got in that mix. You know, there were some good players in there. So it's not like you can't make an argument.
So let me see if we can go anyway. Here you go. This is Mookie speaking.
LeBron James was MVP. D-Wade, who was a Finals MVP level caliber player. Top 3.
So you already said Finals MVP level caliber player. He's going back from 5 years for 2011, right? So he's holding Dwayne Wade to still being an elite player in 2011 because of what he did in 2006, but he couldn't do that for Jason Terry. This is why we try to. This is how I poke holes in y'all logic. You guys can't poke holes in my logic because my logic is consistent. My logic is not trying to find a way to make me right. My logic is found a way to make me understand what I'm talking about. I create my logic so you can understand what I'm saying, not for me to be right or create a narrative. It's not my fault that I don't have holes in my logic. I'm not walking around here like a Jamaican with a fishnet shirt. I ain't got holes in my logic. My logic is concrete. It's solid. They don't like that. He don't have no. So Dwayne Wade's 2006 is good enough to make him elite for 2011, but Jason Terry's played for the 5 years prior to that is not eligible to make him an elite creator. An elite creator.
Chris Bosh was a prenup all-star. All these players they had. Anybody with that?
He said again, the top 3. He named Chris Bosh, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. They had nobody else in Miami. The rest of the team was trash.
Much star player. Would you agree that their floor is?
Watch this.
Their floor?
What matters to post you?
So they're going to ask me about floor. And again, y'all know that stupid floor talk. Y'all know how I feel about that. What the hell is a floor? No, the Miami Heat were not expected to win the NBA Finals or get into the NBA Finals their first NBA season. They were not. So it's all false. And now, mind you, he asked me that question. Let's see if he lets me answer the question. Y'all know they're not going to let me answer this. They got too many commercials coming. We're going to finish after I try to answer this question just to show y'all we can get up out of here so that we can watch the basketball game. But this is how they try to debate you. They don't let you speak. They don't let you get your take in. It's one thing if you let me get my take in and then you can cook me. That's why I show you guys footage because obviously this is why I don't care to go on their show because I already know once it's live like this, I can get the footage that I need. That's it.
Yes, they were, bro.
Look, see, look.
Why is LeBron?
Oh, my bad. Derrick Rose.
Watch this, y'all. Listen.
Okay. Why are these players? Y'all let them apart. Why are these players better?
Would anybody with LeBron James, D-Wade, who was a Finals MVP level to caliber player, top 3 players that they both had. Chris Bosh was a prenup all-star. All these players they had. Anybody with that much star power, would you agree that their floor is in the finals? Just their floor?
No, again, they're not expected to make the NBA Finals.
Yes, they were, bro. That's why
See, look, I didn't even get a chance to say what I said. As soon as I said that, triggered, right? As soon as I said it.
It was a crazy deal because at the end of the day, nobody expected the Miami Heat to be able to get 3 matches.
So do you agree?
See, look, I wouldn't even get a chance. Look, see, look.
They hated it because they thought they were going to run the league and it wasn't even going to be close, bro. That's why.
false. That's false.
That is not false. That's revisionist
No,
history.
again, it's not revisionist. I was down here in Miami. I was listening to sports radio back then with the Dan Levitards, with the George Sedanos, the Book Shambys, the Hank the Hammer, and all these guys. And again, that first year, everybody said it. It's not. They're not winning a championship this first year. But after this year, it's on because they had to clear up some more cap space. They had some money that they needed to get cleared up of. Not mention that, like I said, they had to clear up the whole collective bargaining agreement.
So if the team is what flaw that you sit here and say, how come they beat the Celtics in 5 games and beat the 60
Watch this.
Because during that series, if you remember as well, Dwayne Wade.
Hold on, bro. I'm looking right now.
See, look, you see, I got cut off. You see,
He is the favorite to win.
you see what I'm saying? Look. See, and then they went to go look for stuff that had nothing. Again, I never told them go to the series prediction before the series. I said before the playoffs. So that means before anything happened at the end of the season, after everybody got a chance to look at what all the teams did, what were their predictions going into the playoffs. No one had the Heat making the finals then. Didn't have the Heat making the finals in the beginning of the season either. When the Heat got blown out in the first opening game versus the Boston Celtics, that was the first question they asked Rondo. Are the Heat the favorites? He was like, no, I think Boston is. So there was plenty of people who said that the Miami Heat may not even work. I remember it back then. People were saying, how are they going to play ball together? What are they going to do? There's only one ball. So there was a lot of question marks. There was nothing solid. There was nothing consistent. There was nothing consensus. And I gave them information about the sports radio and everything down here just for them to ignore all of that. And I already showed y'all all the articles and everything that I showed y'all of who they thought was going to win the NBA Finals and make the finals. The Lakers were definitely supposed to make the finals, not Dallas Mavericks. The Lakers got swept. Nobody mentions that. And got swept badly. Only LeBron fans, because they say what? It's about the deflecting towards LeBron. But you know what? Let's get ready to get up out of here because I did get Zero. Yes, we are going to do the live right now. I'm actually going to get my television set up. So if you guys want to come through, I'm going to put the link on the GOAT James Kingdom members community. We can come right back here to a StreamYard lobby, and we're going to watch the game together and have some fun. And we can still have this conversation while we're watching the game. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this was me showing y'all how I expose Zesty Jeffries like I normally do because they can't talk the game of basketball. I want to thank you, Ishmael. I want to thank you, Juan Boy, for being here. I'm going to put the link up. If you guys want to join me in the next 15, 20 minutes, it'll be available to you. I have it ready for you guys. But again, I was just exposing Mookie, a.k.a. RatedR Sports. Now he is Rated X Sports because he got exposed by the Exposer, and I told him stop fucking with me because here in GOAT James Kingdom, we don't play those games, and all you do is get exposed by the Exposer when you come with that nonsense.
Still alive? I'm a goddamn cat.
Exactly. You can't stop me. I'm still here. I'm in my live 3 hours later. So thanks everybody for joining me and appreciating this. This will be available for everybody to watch. At the end of the day, Mookie got what he deserved because again, he can't talk the game of basketball. Thank you for joining me right here on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. As you guys know, we go live every Sunday noon with the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and Ajani. Join us every Sunday noon Eastern time right here where we actually open up the panel to have a GOAT debate and we let people speak and we have a great conversation. Obviously, if you want me one-on-ones, you know where to find me. Right on the Friday night exposure with the Exposer, where I go live every Friday night, and I'll be live this Friday night for sure. It won't be a pre-recorded show. It'll be an actual live, and I'll be ready for any one of you Zesty Jeffries that come from that Rated X channel come talk to me. But if you like what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom, please support what we do here. Become a member of the GOAT James Kingdom channel by basically joining our membership and supporting what Brandon and I do. We appreciate everything with you guys, and we can't say nothing but thank you and blessings. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me again here for this special stream. Y'all have a great day. GOAT James King members, I'll see you shortly. Peace and blessings. And for you, Mookie,
you have now been exposed by the Exposer.
And the rest of your punk ass crew that's over there with the Rated X crew, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of
Zesty Jeffries.
And to that bitch ass nigga who claim I owe him $1,000, you ain't never gonna get your money because
you's a fuck nigga.
And at the end of the day, this is GOAT James Kingdom. We don't run from nobody. Y'all have a great evening. And let's go Timberwolves.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. Here in GOAT James Kingdom, we attack the GOAT debate head on, where we challenge all Michael Jordan fans and all LeBron detractors to who is the GOAT of basketball. You can catch us every Sunday noon Eastern time, right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, for the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and Ajani. Also, we go live Friday nights with the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, where you catch special shows and content as a GOAT James Kingdom follower and subscriber. Also, check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership, where you can get exclusive content.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.
Welcome to Zesty Jeffrey Cemetery, where we have identified, marked, and cataloged all Zesty Jeffreys for their final resting spot. No longer will you hear Zesty Jeffrey logic like 6-0 and the toughest era ever. This is where all of that ends, right here at Zesty Jeffrey Cemetery. Subscribe to the GOAT James Kingdom channel and also check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership.